music while we chill. It's beginning. Let me just pull up my soundtracks that I have here that are free of copyright. Okay. Oh, okay. Here I go. We got what, like 40 minutes? Oh boy, let's take a look here. Now, wouldn't it be a shame if I'm actually not debating him? That would be wild. That would be wild. Okay. It begins. What should I do? Has he ever said anything regarding like the Venezuela situation? I think all he does is like reaction content. So it's like really hard to like say like, let's see, Venezuela. Shocking Venezuelan gang takeover of U.S. buildings. That was 24 views a year ago. Cool V1C mentioned. Sup, amends. Get this one. This dude racks my mean gene. He is an Andrew fan for sure. Cool beans. I forget about this debate. What's up first? Hey, how you doing? Why did you guys not show up on my restream? Let me pull up my restream one more time. That's strange. Yeah, I don't see any content on how he feels about the Venezuela situation. I wonder if he doesn't feel strongly about it. Why does my restream chat not work? Test. It's not showing up on YouTube. Why would restream not work on YouTube? Fine, whatever. I'll just post it on my own. I'll just pull it up on my own thing. That's so annoying. Restream is like showing up for, but why not connection error for YouTube? Okay. Even though like I'm streaming to YouTube right now. So like obviously I have permission. That's really annoying. It's okay. I'll just have the YouTube chat up. Connection in error state. Why is it doing that? Like if all our interviews look like Maduro one, I think that's the best possible outcome. I mean, my problem is that they're stealing. That's like my main problem. Rod Easter says, who is the mod? The moderator is typically Bobro. I also have Rubix, who's also a mod. Right now we're just chilling. Did he already send me the invite link? I think he did. like earlier today. Yeah, he's already got it. I'll probably join in maybe 10 minutes ahead of time. Sup, bud? Where you been? You missed some good debates. Did I? I'm sorry. I'm assuming regarding the situation of the second person killed in the the ICE shootings. I don't even have to entertain that one. That one's just obviously it's not even something to argue, like whether or not something like that was justified. Bud says it snows 3 inches here in Texas the whole year. Yeah, I'm in Florida, so it's not too bad. It's 40 degrees outside. That's very cold, by the way. Very cold, I must say. That's very cold. But it's not colder than everybody else. So there's that. Yeah, well, it says, not you first. Thank you. Oh, thank goodness. I am putting in the work. Hymn of the Faith. Why did I put this in my set? I think it's just because I like the Hymn of the Faith. Why don't we take a look at this, right? This is from the U.S. Department of Energy, which absolutely for sure does not have any bias in it whatsoever. I'm sure it's not biased, right? Coming straight from them. It's totally legitimate. Let's see what they have to say. President Trump is restoring prosperity, safety, and security for the United States and Venezuela. Thanks to President Trump, the United States, announces a historic U.S.-Venezuela energy deal to safeguard America. Thanks to President Trump, the United States is restoring prosperity. It even sounds like him. Safety and security to the United States and Venezuela. Venezuela was once a wealthy, stable nation whose citizens benefited from its vast natural resources and enjoyed a strong economic partnership with the United States. Hold on a sec. I gotta pop this chat out because I have no idea why, for whatever reason, Restream's like, I'm not gonna work. Screw you, Amender, even though you pay money for it. We're just gonna ignore you and your desires. I wonder, can I close this and it not... I'll just minimize it. Okay. Venezuela was once a wealthy, stable nation whose citizens benefited from its vast natural resources and enjoyed strong economic partnership with the United States. However, for more than 2 decades, Venezuelan leaders chose a darker path of violence, corruption, and socialism. This shift devastated Venezuela's economy, impoverished its citizens, and funded global terrorism. On January 3rd, 2026, under President Trump's leadership, the United States successfully apprehended Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, who had been indicted for numerous violent crimes, including narco-terrorism conspiracy. Where are they getting the narco-terrorism thing? Seriously. Let's look that up. So the U.S. and Department of Justice accuses high-ranking Venezuelan officials of running a cartel known as a Cartel of the Suns and colluding with terrorist groups to ship cocaine. Some experts and critics argue that these claims are overblown to justify U.S. intervention, noting that Venezuela is not a major source of fentanyl and that many drugs from the region go to Europe, not the United States. So where are they getting this? Like, where are they getting this? Barely 48 hours after U.S. forces took Nicolas Maduro and his wife in a compound in Caracas, the Venezuelan leader stood in a New York court and pleaded not guilty to conspiracy charges brought by the U.S. government. As a world grapples with highly unusual military seizure of the U.S. of another world leader, the criminal case against Maduro will work through the justice system much like any other filed in New York based upon the evidence in U.S. law. Prosecutors in their charging document allege Maduro, his wife and son, and their accomplices engaged in cocaine trafficking conspiracy and partnered with cartels designated as terrorist groups. They said that the accused abused their position of public trust and corrupted once legitimate institutions to import tons of cocaine to the United States. Maduro has previously called such charges a tool to further imperial plans for getting access to Venezuela's rich oil reserves. In a court on Monday, his lawyers suggested that he should be immune from prosecution as the leader of a sovereign country and that the U.S. is taking him by force is illegal. That's actually true. He left court. Maduro said in Spanish that he is a kidnapped president and a prisoner of war. His wife, Celia Flores, was in good spirits. According to a statement from her attorney, Mark E. Donnelly, had added, "We look forward to reviewing and challenging the evidence the government has." She also pleaded not guilty. In a 25-page indictment, U.S. prosecutors laid out a case that allegedly began in 1999 when Maduro was first elected to public office. Says he, Flores, a son of Nicolas Ernest Maduro Guerra, and 3 others participated in a relentless campaign of cocaine trafficking. The current and former interior ministers of Venezuela who oversaw the country's police forces, Diosdado Cabello Rondon and Ramon Rodriguez Chaquin, have also been charged, as has Hector Rustenford Guerrero Flores, an alleged gang leader of Tren de Aragua. The U.S. is offering rewards for information leading to the arrest of Cabello Rondon and Guerrero Flores, who was charged in New York in December with racketeering, drug importation, and other crimes. After the U.S. race, Cabello Rondon appeared on television in Venezuela urging residents to trust our leadership, trust in our military and political leaders during the situation we are facing. Let's see here. Altogether, the 6 people face 4 counts, including engaging in a narco conspiracy with designated terrorist groups, conspiring to traffic cocaine into the U.S., and possessing and using illegal weapons, primarily machine guns, to carry out alleged conspiracy. The indictment accuses them of working with the FARC, Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, and the Sinaloa and Zetas cartels in Tren de Aragua. The U.S. government designated them all terrorist groups in February of 2025. Prosecutors allege that the accused provided law enforcement cover and logistical support for drug shipments through Venezuela, knowing that they were headed for the U.S. Before becoming president, the U.S. government says Maduro provided passports and drug traffickers, facilitated diplomat cover for planes used by money launderers to reparate drug proceeds from Mexico to Venezuela. After taking office in 2013, he has allegedly allowed drug trade to flourish for his own benefit, for the benefit of members of his ruling regimes, and for the benefit of family members. Prosecutors allege his wife, who is the leader of the Venezuela's National Assembly, accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes, that's it, including its kickbacks for safe passage of drug shipments as well. The couple allegedly commandeered state-sponsored gangs and ordered kidnappings, beatings, and murders against those who owed them drug money or otherwise undermined their drug trafficking operation. Meanwhile, prosecutors accused Cabello Rondon of working with Colombian drug traffickers to facilitate massive cocaine shipments to Mexico and ultimately the U.S. Rodriguez Chaquin allegedly maintained an estate that housed a FARC encampment and a training school and is accused of accepting bribes from the group to shield it from arrest and prosecution. Maduro's son, Maduro Guerrera, is accused of regularly visiting Margarita Island off the coast of Venezuela on a plane with packages that military officials believe contain drugs. Prosecutors also allege in 2017 that he worked to ship hundreds of kilograms of cocaine to Miami and spoke with drug trafficking partners about, among other things, shipping low-quality cocaine to New York because it could not be sold in Miami, arranging a 500-kilogram shipment of cocaine to be unloaded from a cargo container near Miami and using scrap metal containers to smuggle cocaine into the ports of New York. On Monday, Maduro Guerrera railed against the U.S. operation as a direct threat to global political stability. If we normalize the kidnapping of a head of state, no country is safe, the Venezuelan congressman said. In the indictment, prosecutors also asked for the defendant's property and money to be forfeited. U.S. District Court Judge Alvin Hellerstein has the next hearing case set for March 17th. James, I went back and watched your debate about American pride, and I think you made a lot of good points. Next time I debate, first I'm going to go back to that subject. Okay. It is difficult to assess the legal merits of the case against Maduro because the indictment does not include what evidence prosecutors have against him, said defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Sarah Krisoff. Generally, in international narcotics trafficking indictments or charging documents, there is a lot of conclusions and not a lot of specificity, said Krisoff, who worked for over a decade in the court where Maduro is being tried. The document does not technically have to detail what evidence prosecutors have against the defendant, and for large-scale drug trafficking cases like this, much of that evidence is confidential or classified, she said. Krisoff expects parts of the trial to be closed to the press and to the public. Wait, why? Why? I want to see that. And that defense attorneys will have to get security clearances and review some of the material in highly secured areas the government uses for handling classified intelligence. In their case against Maduro, prosecutors have a real advantage because they've been building a case over a decade, she added. Several legal experts interviewed by the BBC, including Milena Stereo of Cleveland State University College of Law, believe the U.S. operation to bring Maduro to New York violated the UN Charter and other international law. That's correct. But now that Maduro is in the United States, it's almost certainly legal under U.S. domestic law for him to stand trial, Stereo said. Our courts have long recognized that for a defendant, even if they are kidnapped or abducted or forcibly brought to the U.S., that is not ground for tossing out a case, she said. The BBC has reached out to Maduro's attorney for comment. Wait, what the fuck? So it's like, hold on. So basically, we're not sure what the evidence is. They're just saying that, hey, there's evidence. Cool. Also, assume all of that is true. Does Donald Trump then have a right to seize the oil? Of which, by the way, the United States never owned the oil reserves. Oh. It's just wild. Wow. We got a big one right here. We can go over this for a bit, but I don't know if I can get through the whole thing. Timeline of U.S. military escalation against Venezuela leading to Maduro's capture. President Donald Trump has long threatened that he could order military strikes on target Venezuelan territory after months of attacks and boats accused of carrying drugs from the South American country. President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela said the U.S. military operations were a thinly veiled effort to oust him from power. On Saturday, the United States conducted a large-scale strike against Venezuela. Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were taken from their home on a military base and were aboard a U.S. warship on their way to New York, where they were to face criminal charges. An indictment accused them of the role of narco-terrorism conspiracy. The Venezuelan government called it an imperialist attack and urged citizens to take on the streets. Before the escalation, there had been 35 known strikes against alleged drug smuggling boats in the South American waters since early September that killed at least 115 people, according to the announcements of the Republican administration. The U.S. sent a fleet of warships to the region, the largest buildup of forces in generations. The White House said Washington was in armed conflict with drug cartels to halt the flow of narcotics into the United States, while U.S. officials alleged that Maduro supported the international drug trade. Here's a timeline of U.S. military actions and related developments. Is first defending this scumbag? No. No, Maduro's a bad guy. The question is whether or not was what Trump did justified. And I don't think it was. January 2025. Trump signs an executive order that paved the way for criminal organizations and drug cartels to be named foreign terrorist organizations. Okay, local admin says, before anything else in this type of debate, you have to establish that international law and compacts exist hold weight. Otherwise, it will take a long time to get them waffling on that point. It's true. It's true. Should probably pull that up. New York City Bar. The New York City Bar Association condemns in the strongest possible term the blatant illegal actions of President Donald J. Trump in ordering the use of military force in the nation of Venezuela to seize its president, Nicolas Maduro Moros, to assert control over its oil reserves and to run the country until a new leader is satisfactory to President Trump is selected. As we explain below, this unprovoked use of military force by our president violates both our Constitution, which reserves the power to declare war to Congress, the War Powers Act of 1973, which makes clear that the president may not authorize military actions except in the defense of military personnel or facilities without congressional approval. The president's actions also brazenly violate the United Nations Charter, a binding treaty in which the United States is ratified, which prohibits the threat of use of military force against any nation except in self-defenses authorized by the Security Council. Which says, is this a call-in show today? Not today. We got a debate. The Trump administration's claim that its Venezuelan operation was merely the purpose of arresting Maduro to face charges initially brought in 2020 and augmented a superseding indictment unsealed January 3rd of 2026 must be seen for what it plainly was, a pretense to carry out an unlawful regime change in a foreign nation to seize principal natural resource for its commercial or strategic advantage. As a matter of U.S. constitutional law, the president's actions violate Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, which vests that Congress, not the president, shall exclusive power to declare war. They also contravene in War Powers Resolution of 1973, which makes it clear that absent an attack of... Fuck, I should have made my intro about that. Fuck. God damn it. That's right. Let me look at my PowerPoint real quick. Damn. I gotta add this. That's absolutely correct. Okay. Okay. Call-in show should be good. All right, hold on. Honestly, first seems like the type of person to return Maduro because we broke the law. I mean, he's like, by the very virtue of the United Nations as well as the international community and our very constitution, we actually should be returning him. That's actually true, despite the fact that he's a bad person. I get that we don't like him. Right? All right, hold on. StreamYard. Here we go. StreamYard. Blah, blah, blah. StreamYard. Just make sure my camera's good. It's my audio. Shure MV7 looks good. All right, enter studio. God, I gotta listen to this awful. Why is Streamlabs not showing? Streamlabs should be showing. I gotta fix this. Speakeazy podcast. I was actually scheduled to debate a guy who was arguing in favor of saying that the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, that they should have gone to prison. I was like, yeah, I'm not debating that guy. Sorry. Hot take, not debating that guy. Where's my Chrome? There it is. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're ready to go. It's Speakeazy. Love that dude. God. You like Cool Cool Vic? Ugh. I do not like Cool Vic. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. I think that the only thing that I don't like about Speakeazy's podcast is that he like LARPs. There's like a LARP for like the Crusades, which is really weird. I just think it's really weird to like glorify that. Like, it's not a good time. Like, that's not that was a literal genocide. That's not a good moment in history. Honestly, first, if you do not want to debate that dude, I'm perfectly fine with that. It was Speak's intro is amazing. Dude, it is so cringy. Dude, it is so cringe. You cannot possibly tell me that that's a good intro. Holy crap. Super cringy. Let's take a look here. We are just waiting by now. I'll have notes here, though. Write some notes down while we wait for that, I guess. AWOL says, stop whining. I'm not in a good mood. I'm sorry. I'm not in a good mood. That intro is fire. I don't think it's fire. It's also too loud. Way too loud. It's like the loudest thing ever. And every time I've played it, people are like, wow, that's really cringy. I'm sorry. It's not a, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a proud moment in history, that, the Crusades happened. Like you don't really want to romanticize that. That was a literal genocide. Like I'm not good. Chris Falcon says, Amender needs a cigar and a cocktail, considering that's unironically what I did. Chris, you've already figured it out. That is exactly, I went to my local cigar bar and I just sat there and smoked a cigar and had an old fashioned. I was like, dude, this sucks. GI99 says first doesn't even have an, yeah, because I don't use AI. That's so annoying. Yeah, 2 people said it was cringy. You and Bobro. Come on, dude. It was more than me and Bobro. Come on. All right, I'll play it just for you, AWOL, so you could bask in the genocide loving times. Yeah. I'll let you bask in that. Sure, I'll play the music just for you. Exka says, is Bobro even here? No. Not yet. I don't know. He might not come. It's fine. The Indiana Jones movies took place during World Wars. Yeah, but it's not like that the Indiana Jones is glorifying the Nazis. Does that mean the movies weren't cold? The Vikings did horrible things. Does that mean Viking TV shows aren't good? Hold on. So Vikings in general is not, but specifically the Crusades, they're kind of known for, the Crusades. Like that was a moment of a literal genocide. Like, no, I'm not going to be on the side of you, saying that, the genocide is cool. It's not. Okay, prove the point. When the intro comes on, go ahead and play it and ask the people in the room what they think of the intro. Okay. But jihad music is based? What are you talking about? When did I say jihad music is based? That's also not based. What? See, I know what people need. Courtesy of working in sales for 6 years. Nice. Yeah, no, a cigar and a whiskey that is exactly what I needed. And I did do that. It's just, I had to kind of like rush it. I couldn't like sit down and enjoy it. I was just like, all right, let me go get a cigar real quick and I'll be right back. And I just kind of grabbed a cigar, smoked half of it and left. I was like, damn. I was like, I would have stayed there for the whole thing. But here I am. What is your stick of choice? I like Garcia. My Father. Those are really good. Let's see. Which says, Amender, can you say hi to Pepper for me? Pepper! Oh! I think she's chilling. I think she's downstairs just lying down. Just vibing. Jihad music is based. Ugh. No. It's like more instances. It's like, yeah, let's glorify genocide. Like, no, I'm not glorifying genocide. That's a bad thing. What? I'm sorry. I mean, you're just not going to find me agreeing with that. What the fuck does based mean? Says Chris Falcon. It just means like it just means like you don't care what other people think of you, and it's like really cool. Like that's based. Chris Falcon says it means it's good. Yeah, it's like well, it's also a mix of like, yeah, you just have a lack of reverence for what other people think.
Hello, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Just waiting on Cool Vic still. You shouldn't
Sounds good.
be here any minute. Whew. Is it cold where you're at?
It's actually not too bad. I'm in Florida,
Oh.
so
Okay.
we're I'm like watching the entire like country freeze to death, and I'm just like t-shirt. I'm all right.
Yeah.
Maybe a sweater, maybe a little.
Yeah.
I think it was 40 degrees outside, so I mean that's very cold for Florida. Like Florida does not typically see 40 degrees.
Yeah, I'm back in Ontario now, so it's horrible here.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
How cold is it where you are?
So it would be, so the other day it was -50 yesterday. Yeah.
Is that Fahrenheit?
Yeah, for you, yeah. So it would be
I don't even know what it would be. 45 Celsius.
yeah.
Negative
Yeah,
45. But like I don't even know what that would even feel like or what that is. Like that concept is not even something that's in my head. Like I can't even imagine. I imagine like stepping outside would mean like within like 2 minutes your fingers like are black with like
not quite black, but yeah, they get pretty blue. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
I was brushing the car off yesterday, and my beard got frozen in like it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Jeez. That's a lot.
Yeah, and I hate the cold. I just can't stand it.
Yeah. I just never experienced it. I'm Floridian, right? And I think the coldest I've ever been in was like, I don't know, -4 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about as cold as it gets. And that was cold. That was cold. Like I did not understand that. I was like in a cabin up in the mountains where there was no, they had like fires to like keep the cabin warm. And like, I remember they had this little like water bag that you just like put around a blanket and you just kind of hugged to bed. That water bag, dude, top notch. I was like, this works really way too well, right? You just fell right asleep, and you woke up okay. But yeah, man, it was just too cold. -40. I've never felt that in my life. I have no idea what that's like.
It sucks. Yeah, you can get like a cup of boiling water and throw it in the air, turn it into snow.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen YouTube videos of that, but I've never like,
actually did it. Yeah.
Done that, and it happened. I heard that there's some people where they did that and they end up accidentally burning themselves. I'm like, how stupid are you? Right. How do you not? like put it over there in the direct, not up. Like,
Oh, he must have not seen the link. That's what happened. There we go. Let me resend it to him. There he is.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Just Getting ready. I was trying to fix my mic.
Okay. No worries.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry, it just.
Oh yeah, we hear you good. You hear us?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, I hear you guys.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry guys.
If you need to get set up, no worries.
I'm like a boomer when it comes to this stuff still. So. Yeah. Here. I'm actually gonna come back in right now, guys. So I'm gonna leave and I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah.
See if I can reverse this. How do I reverse this scroll? Oh, yeah, here we go. Now we're cooking with the gas.
Wait, do you see it going backwards?
Is that straight now? Yeah, I was seeing it going backwards. Is it now going backwards for you?
Yeah, now it's going backwards. Yeah, it was going the right way before. Yeah, but yeah, now everything's
let me fix it. Let me fix it. It must be. It must be automatic.
It's scrolling the right way, but
it's probably
backwards.
like automatically doing that, and I'm seeing it in reverse. I've seen some software do that. So
yeah, no, it's working fine there.
Okay,
yeah.
there. How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool.
All right, I should be good now.
All righty. And just a quick rundown. Make sure you're both good with it. 10 minutes for the opening statement. Then you get 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttals each. After that, full hour of back and forth. And then 5-minute closings. And then a 30-minute Q&A. And then there's an open panel. That's optional for you guys, though. But up to the Q&A, you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Sounds good.
And then let me do the for and against, because chat always reams me when I don't do it. And then I always have to get them back and say, if you were paying attention, you would know.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And then so for openings, Cool Vic, you'll go first since you're on the affirmative. And then when we get to closings, you'll go first again. So that'll give 1stAmender last word. I like to give one the first and then one the last. Cool with that?
All right. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Awesome. All right. We're going to get this started up. And then, yeah, it's going to play. It'll play my disclaimer, the intro with the song. And then I'll introduce the show, introduce the prompt, introduce you guys, and then we'll get right into openings. Cool.
Alrighty. Cool.
All right. All right. Thank you both for being here, and good luck to you both. And let's rock and roll.
Warning. The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice. This is your fault. Guidance. Additionally,
you get this video without me muting it or anything. I hope you enjoy it.
It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, you're going to love it.
And/or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. The Canadian Copyright Act, Section 29, allows an individual to use copyright-protected materials when creating a new work, such as a mashup, and to post the new work online on a site like YouTube. Fair dealing provision for specific purposes like research, private study, education, parody, satire.
Go ahead, tell me when you
criticism,
want it
review,
muted,
and
AWOL.
news reporting.
You are the one that has the choice.
Step up. Yeah, we pledge. We pledge. We pledge. We pledge. Step in the arena, mind locked and loaded. Truth on my blade, every line's
They
exploded.
play this every
Swinging
debate.
Words, I counter with precision. Battle of reason, this is my mission. Raise your fist, let them know. No. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through
It's getting
like
pretty
no
emo,
retreating.
says JI99
No fear, no
James.
chain, no treason. Woo! We clash
Oh,
our
what?
swords of reason.
What? You don't like,
Step back, I'm a scholar and a fighter.
Would you like me to turn this off? No, we gotta let AWOL figure out if this is good or not.
Raise your fist, let them know. Whoa. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo. We clash our swords of reason.
Exca's saying it's fire. Wow, okay. Everybody thinks it's great. Everybody thinks it's great. You know, people that like to think that the Crusades is a good thing. Amanda says, hey, Amanda. Hi, Amanda. We're looking at this crap.
Every thought a fortress, every claim a storm. We forge a truth where chaos takes form. I designate like lightning through
God,
the
I
night.
hate this. I hate
In
this
the
very
war of
much.
minds, we bring the light. Step in, feel the heat. Truth is my weapon, never beat. Raise them high, break the ceiling. With a fire,
Amanda says,
with a
LOL,
feeling.
no,
We
I hate it.
clash
Thank
our
you,
swords
thank
of
you,
reason.
thank you.
Cut
I hate
through
it too.
like no retreating.
It's awful.
No fear,
It's
no
awful.
chain, no treason. We clash our
JI9
swords
says,
of
nah, the
reason.
intro
We
sucks.
clash our swords of
Wait,
reason.
hold on, let's engage, let's engage.
No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason.
Welcome, everybody, to Swords of Reason right here on the Speakeazy Show, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. If you're new here, the format is simple. Each debater gets 10 minutes for their opening statement, followed by 5 minutes of uninterrupted rebuttals. After that, we enter the arena for a full hour of back and forth debate. This is where the arguments can clash, the iron can sharpen the iron, and then finally, each side will deliver a 5-minute closing statement to lock in their case. When that's done, we move into a 30-minute Q&A. I'll drop a Q&A in the chat for you guys, but keep in mind the Super Chat, PayPal, and Cash App questions will get priority. And if this fills up the entire 30 minutes, the free chat questions may not get answered. So if there's something you want guaranteed to be asked, make sure you send it through one of the priority options, and we'll make sure it gets read. Once the formal debate wraps up, we open the doors for the Chaos and Chill panel. This is where the community can hop in, challenge the debaters, ask follow-ups if the debaters choose to stick around, because this part is optional for them. It's always where things get a little wild, right? Today's debate prompt: Trump is justified in how he has handled the Venezuela situation. And today's debaters for the affirmative tonight, making his debut in the Swords of Reason arena, we have Cool Vic, a proud Christian American fighting the culture war, known for hot topic discussions and extensive debate critique and commentary videos. His link can be found in the description. And for the negative, returning to the Swords of Reason arena, the 1stAmender, known for his hot news discussions, political debates, and his Debate a Woke Liberal call-in show right here on YouTube. You can find his channel also linked in the description below. With that being said, let's get right into opening statements. We're going to start with Cool Vic. So, Cool Vic, whenever you are ready for your opening statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Alrighty. Well, first off, thank you, Speakeazy, for hosting this debate and for having me here today. Also, thank you very much, First Amender, for being my opponent tonight. It's not the first time I've tangled the First Amender. Probably won't be the last either, but this should be a lot of fun. I'm excited. So, the United States has a rock-solid federal criminal case against Nicolas Maduro, one that started way back in 2011 under the United States versus Carvajal Barrios, and finally got unsealed on March 26, 2020 by the DOJ. This isn't some made-up political hit job. It's a detailed indictment charging Maduro and his inner circle, senior Venezuelan officials, with narco-terrorism, conspiracy to import massive quantities of cocaine into the United States, and even possession of machine guns and destructive devices. The core allegations: Maduro ran the so-called Cartel of the Suns, a network of high-ranking military and government thugs who teamed up with the Colombian FARC guerrillas to flood America with multi-ton shipments of cocaine. They negotiated the loads, armed the narcos with military-grade weapons, and coordinated through Honduras and other transit points, all to poison our streets, wreck public health, and line their own pockets while undermining U.S. security. This isn't speculation. It builds directly on real convictions like the 2016 Narcos Sobrinos case, where Maduro's own nephews-in-law got nailed for trying to smuggle 800 kilos of coke. The DOJ laid it out plain. Maduro's crew aimed to flood the United States with cocaine. That's not rhetoric. That's the government's position in federal courts. Fast forward, the bounty started at $15 million under Trump in March 2020, right after the indictment dropped. Then Biden's team bumped it up to $25 million in January 2025, tying it to Maduro's repression and that sham 2024 re-election. But when Trump came back in, they doubled down, literally announcing a $50 million bounty on August 7, 2025, the biggest ever under their narcotics rewards program. Attorney General Pam Bondi made it clear this was after Treasury designated the Cartel of the Suns a special designated global terrorist group. They tied Maduro to Tren de Agua and even the Sinaloa cartel. The message was loud. This guy isn't just a dictator, he's a narco-terrorist kingpin. And then on January 3rd, 2026, a superseding indictment drops, adding his wife Celia Flores and others right as U.S. Special Forces move in, capture Maduro and Flores in Caracas, fly him straight to New York, and lock him up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He's pleading not guilty, sure, but he's here in custody facing trial. The operation drew straight from the Manuel Noriega playbook, 1989 Panama. No congressional approval needed for a leader indicted on drug charges. Precedent exists, and it's been used. So when my opponent tries to spin this as illegal aggression or whatever nonsense he's peddling, ask him, why ignore the mountains of evidence from multiple administrations, Trump, Biden, and then Trump again? Why pretend the Cartel of the Suns is fiction when the U.S. government has tracked it for over a decade? Why act shocked that America finally acted on charges it's pursued since 2011, when the Obama administration was in charge? This wasn't vigilante justice. It was the United States enforcing its laws against a man who spent years allegedly turning his country into a narco state and targeting our people with poison. Trump was justified, past, present, and future, in how he handled the Venezuela situation. The facts speaks for themselves. The indictment, the escalating bounties, the capture, it's all on record. And that will be the end of my opening statement. I cede the rest of my time.
All right. Thank you for that opening statement. And with that, we are going to hand over the mic to First Amender for your opening statement. First Amender, I'll unmute you there. I just had you muted because I heard you taking notes, so
My
I just
apologies.
didn't want it to. No worries. It happens. I just wanted to make sure it didn't interrupt Cool Vic. But whenever you are ready for your opening statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
I have to share my PowerPoint. Just give me 1 second, okay?
Okay. Yep.
Hang tight, sorry.
No worries. And remember, chat, everyone's the debaters' links are in the description, so make sure you go give them both a sub. Okay, yes, I see it here.
Was Trump justified in how he handled the Venezuela situation? A debate with 1stAmender. You can find me on youtube.com/@1stAmender. What did Trump do? The U.S. deployed naval forces and military assets around Venezuela and the Southern Caribbean as part of what is described as a campaign to disrupt drug trafficking and illicit maritime networks. U.S. forces conducted airstrikes on maritime vessels described as involved in drug trafficking. These strikes reportedly resulted in dozens of deaths. The United States has seized multiple Venezuelan oil tankers, enforcing sanctions and interrupting oil exports. Trump ordered a blockade of sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuelan waters to choke off the regime's oil trade. In early January of 2026, the United States conducted a large-scale military operation in Venezuela's capital, Caracas, that resulted in the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. The capture marked a dramatic escalation from the pressure and sanctions to direct military intervention and regime removal. After Maduro's removal, Trump stated that the United States would, quote-unquote, run Venezuela on an interim basis, including involvement in the oil sector and infrastructure. The United States also had made demands on Venezuelans' interim leadership regarding the cutting ties with certain foreign partners and prioritizing U.S. oil interests. Was this right? Nicolas Maduro was not a good person. I think that goes without me even having to say it. He was a strict authoritarian who tortured his political opponents. But what other actions? What does the international community say? Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Spain, Uruguay issued a joint statement rejecting the U.S. military action, saying that the operations contravene fundamental principles of international law, threatening regional peace and security, and endanger civilians. They urged a peaceful negotiated solution respecting Venezuelan sovereignty. The EU's high representatives called for calm and restraint, stressing that all factors must uphold international law and the UN Charter in supporting Venezuelan-led peaceful transitions. Official government reactions resulted in the condemnation to the USA as having gone against the United Nations Charter. The United Nations also condemns military action should be avoided, that disputes must be handled through peaceful means under the UN Charter. China, Iran, Cuba, and others explicitly describe the U.S. strikes as violations of sovereignty and international law. The United States Constitution reserves the power to declare war to Congress, not the President, and the War Powers Act of 1973, which makes it clear that the President may not authorize military actions despite in defense of military personnel or facilities without congressional approval. Donald Trump has an intent to steal oil. He said it himself. Even if you ignore all UN charters as well as condemnation of international standards, Donald Trump has publicly said that he would wanted to control Venezuelan oil. Right here, you can see this quote. One of the things that the United States gets out of this, it will be even lower energy prices, indicating a clear intent to take the oil. Is stealing justifiable? Given that Trump himself said that we were going to take the oil for ourselves, one comes with the questions, did we ever own it? The answer is no. The United States private companies controlled roughly 70% of oil extraction, but not oil reserves themselves, and were owned by Venezuela. Additionally, when nationalization occurred, companies were bought out, not stolen to nationalize. In order to say it is justifiable, you must argue that stealing is okay, provided that you have enough force. I find that the actions taken by President Donald Trump and his administration to be completely unjustifiable, no matter what route I take. I can't say that Maduro was a terrible person, but to go against specific UN Charter as well as the U.S. Constitution, to go one step further and steal is the only resource Venezuela realistically has, is completely unjustified. Thank you, and you consider subscribe to my channel, 1stAmender, youtube.com/@1stAmender.
All right. Thank you for that opening statement. With that, we are going to get into the rebuttal round. This is where each debater will have 5 minutes uninterrupted to directly respond to their opponent's arguments. So it's not a back and forth yet, no interjections. And then when you're 5 minutes up, we go to the next one, and then we'll get into open floor. So we're going to hand the mic back to Cool Vic. So Cool Vic, whenever you're ready, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yeah, so 1stAmender brings up how there's other countries that don't like it. I I really don't care. What does it matter what other countries think about it? That's just really reaching for arguments there, because it's like, well, who cares what they think? Second of all, when it comes to like how Maduro bought out the gasoline, that's not true. So what happened is that he wanted Maduro wanted the Venezuelan oil company. I forget the name at the moment, but the Venezuelan oil company. He wanted the U.S. gas companies that were doing business over there in Venezuela to give that company majority stake. Well, there were majority of them did, but there was two that didn't, and that was Chevron and ConocoPhillips, I believe it's called, that didn't and refused to sell. Okay, so was Maduro like, okay, that's fine, no worries? Yeah, no, they just ended up taking it. They just ended up taking it with force. So yeah, no, they didn't just buy him out. It was forced. It wasn't optional there. So there's that. I'm trying to think if there is anything else that you said. Oh yeah, in terms of needing congressional approval and whatnot, there have been actions that the U.S. has taken without congressional approval. I brought up the Manuel Noriega case, which again didn't have congressional approval. That was done by, I believe, George W. Bush. Concerning Manuel Noriega was found to be trafficking drugs into the country, I believe, to summarize it. And so they didn't need congressional approval to take him in. So there is precedent for this. Trump is not the first one to do this. There is, when it comes to international law, Trump isn't the first one to do that too. We have gone against international law before. So these things are nothing new. There is precedent for this. So I believe that's it. I believe those are the only arguments I could think of for rebuttal. So I cede the rest of my time.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal. And with that, we're going to hand the mic back over to 1stAmender. 1stAmender, whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer up with your voice.
Okay. Well, you started off by stating that they were flooding the United States with cocaine. You actually do not know that. None of us can know that. The current information that apparently is available is currently classified, and the court proceeding is also classified. It is not going to be published at all. We just assume it is correct based on what the Department of Justice is saying it is. This also does not justify in deposing a president of a country, no matter how corrupt that they may be, based on international law, plus the United States Constitution, as well as the United Nations. You then said that you continue to ignore mountains of evidence. I would not ignore mountains of evidence. This does not give approval to depose a president, however. And then the other, you were saying that other countries do not like it. It's actually not just other countries. The United States specifically doesn't like it, specifically under the Wartime Act of 1973, and the fact that an act like this does require congressional approval, regardless of how you feel, and it is also stated in the U.S. Constitution. The other one is that they just ended up taking it. Actually, they did purchase it per market value. I mean, I would assume, I don't know, maybe you're against like any instance of government purchasing of market value. I don't know. That's beside the point. It still is not a justification to depose a president. As per multiple laws under United Nations, United States Charter, the United States Constitution, and multiple international bodies, they all disagree with you on whether or not that it is justified. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal. Great rebuttals from both sides. Before we move into the open hour of back and forth, let me talk to the audience real quick. If you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to tonight's debaters. Their links are in the description. We host all kinds of debates here on Swords of Reasons, politics, culture, ethics, internet topics, anything where reasoning and passion can collide. We put it in the arena. So if you're enjoying the format, make sure you stay locked in because we have a lot more coming. Also, a reminder for the live chat after closing statements, we'll be doing a 30-minute Q&A. So I have the Q&A there in the chat for you. But remember, Super Chats, PayPals, and Cash App questions get priority. So if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, we may not get to those questions. So if you have something you really want answered, send it through one of those options. We'll make sure it gets asked. And finally, thank you to both of our debaters for being here tonight and bringing their perspectives to the arena. Whenever one of you is ready to start, excuse me, the open floor exchange, just jump in and I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yeah, I have some questions for Cool Vic. You go by Cool Vic, right? That's what I should call you?
Yes.
Okay. So currently, the way that I'm seeing it is that the president has violated the United States Constitution. It reserves the power to declare war to Congress, as well as the War Powers Act of 1973. It makes it clear that the president may not authorize military actions, except in the defense of military personnel or facilities without congressional approval. In your rebuttal, you brought up Noriega, right? Was it Manuel?
Yeah.
Manuel Noriega was never recognized as a Panama's head of state, either under the Panamanian Constitution or by the United States. This is not the same thing. So, knowing that it is not the same thing and it is not a rebuttal to mention Noriega, I'm asking you, is the power to declare war, that's to Congress, right? The president doesn't have a right to declare war without congressional approval.
When did Trump declare war on Venezuela?
I get that he doesn't have to say it, but he deposed specifically a president. This would be an act of war under any doctrine. You don't have to say that it's a war. If that's the case, right, you can then say that the Iraq War was not a war. Would you say that the Iraq War was not a war?
So are there troops in Venezuela? Is there a war going on in Venezuela?
Hold on. You're answering my question with a question. I'm asking you specifically.
It's just what's the point of this question if there's no soldiers over there? What's the point of it? I could answer it, but what's the point of it?
If the question is that it was war, your response is, okay, well, they didn't officially declare war. You're right. We haven't officially declared war since I think it was World War II. So under that idea, would you be fair to say in saying that the Iraq War was actually not a war?
Yeah, the Iraq War was a war, definitely.
Okay, but we didn't declare war.
Okay, yeah, we didn't declare war. Yeah, but that was a war.
Would say if a foreign country came to the United States and grabbed the president and held them under like some international treaty charter and that they're going to try him, would that be an act of war in your mind?
Oh, definitely. But I don't think anyone would try that though.
Okay. So if the United States does it, then that would be an act of war.
You keep saying that, but again, are we at war right now with Venezuela?
I'm
like,
telling
are there
you, right?
troops actively battling troops from Venezuela? The two armies are going at it over there.
I've already addressed this. Congress doesn't have to specifically say that it is a war in order for it to be a war. You've already conceded to that. So currently, right now, under the U.S. Constitution, reserved power to declare war goes to Congress. Congress never approved of this.
Okay.
As well as the War Powers Act of 1973. Right? It specifically says,
I give an example.
The president cannot authorize the president cannot authorize military actions only under the case of defense of military personnel or facilities without congressional approval. It requires congressional approval by the law of the United States. So you're saying it is justified, but I can plainly show that is not the case.
Yeah, again, there's precedent for this, though. It's not the first time that this has been done.
Okay, well, I've already addressed the Noriega issue, and there is precedent, but he was never recognized as any leader of Panama.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And you've already addressed saying that if somebody grabbed Trump...
They still needed congressional... hold on. They still needed congressional approval. They didn't get the congressional approval. That doesn't matter if he was a leader or not or what have you. They still needed congressional approval to do that. They didn't get it, and they still did it anyway.
Again, the judge rejected Noriega's claims that he was a de facto ruler of Panama. And so I find it hard to believe that a judge would act saying that Nicolas Maduro was not the de facto ruler of Venezuela.
Well,
Right,
he was
that's
only
the
ruler
difference.
because he
No,
was
he
only the
wasn't a
ruler
ruler.
of Venezuela. Yeah, he wasn't a ruler. He only stayed in power because he just did it.
Okay.
He just stayed in power, even though he was voted out.
Okay. There's also the fact that the United Nations, under the United Nations Charter, is a binding treaty the United States has ratified, which prohibits the threat or use of military force against any nation except in self-defense or is authorized by the U.S. Security Council. None of which happened.
Okay.
So again, there's no justification. It's just against, it's against congressional approval. It's against the War Powers Act of 1973. I get Maduro's a bad guy. I agree with you. Maduro's a bad guy. That doesn't make it legal.
Okay, so when are they going to arrest? What are they going to do now then? What should they do then?
Right now, I don't know what they should do. I think they need to reverse what they're currently doing. And then secondly, they also don't have a right to steal oil.
They're
Donald
not
Trump
stealing
is
oil, dude.
Yes, they are. They
They're
already
not
have.
stealing oil.
They already have.
No.
They already have.
Okay, is it stealing from them if Maduro stole it first, pretty much? You keep saying that they bought the oil. No, it wasn't a choice. It wasn't optional. They were forced to sell their stakes in their companies. It wasn't a choice.
Let's try it this way.
To do it.
Let's say that let's say, for example, that the United States is shipping oil overseas to go to like Europe or South America or whatever. Venezuela grabs an oil tanker, taking millions of barrels of oil for the sovereignty of Venezuela, and say that the United States is assisting in drug trafficking. Would they be stealing oil? Do you think that they'd be stealing oil?
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Let's say that the United States is shipping oil overseas. Venezuela says, we are taking this oil for the security of Venezuela because the United States is hindering Venezuela. Would they be stealing oil?
If there was the United States' oil and it was never Venezuela's at all, this is a completely different hypothetical than what's going on. It's not analogous. So yeah, that would be stealing in that case. But what we didn't steal it back. They stole it from the American companies first.
Let's go one step. First of all, we never owned the reserves. We owned the machinery on top of the reserves extracting the oil. But the oil itself was not something that we owned. We never owned it. That never happened. So once again, we went in and we specifically grabbed oil tankers and we took it for ourselves. We stole their oil.
Well, they stole it from the companies first.
No, they didn't. That's not how that works. Again, the reserves were owned by Venezuela. The machinery and stuff on top of it, that's what you could potentially say was stolen.
Okay.
So you don't have a right to the oil.
Okay. So they should just take the machinery back and just leave the oil there?
Well, that would actually have somewhat of a justification, but that's not what we're doing, is it?
What's it called? Yeah. So listen, they still stole it from companies like, they still stole it from those companies. You keep saying they bought it out. They still stole it.
Okay.
And so, like, why not claim some of that oil back that they pretty much stole from those companies?
They didn't steal. The companies had to buy the oil. Again, they had ownership of the oil. The stuff on top of it, sure, they owned it. But they still had to buy the oil from Venezuela. The reserves themselves were owned by Venezuela. It's imagine if I had like a logistics company and I was shipping your, I don't know, bread or whatever. Maybe you've got some bread, a bread factory. And I don't know, maybe you stole a truck. And so therefore I'm taking all of your bread from here on out. It wouldn't be justifiable. You own the bread. I'm just shipping your bread.
How are they getting that oil out without the machines, though?
It doesn't matter. It's still not yours.
But still, they're using the machines to get that oil out. And if they stole the machines, then yes, technically it's like the company's oil pretty much, even if it's on the Venezuela land.
Let's say that you own a plot of land How about this? You own a plot of land. Okay, here we are. You're in a plot of land, and turns out you find there's a ton of oil underneath. Company comes in and they buy a plot of land nearby. And even though that you have subterranean rights, it just starts taking your oil. And then they say it's our oil.
So are you saying Venezuela actually stole it back from the companies then?
No, they always owned the oil itself. The machines on top, that was owned by the company. So it doesn't matter if the company is like, you're not capable of extracting oil, right? You don't have a big giant oil refining machine to be able to do that. You'd likely sell the actual oil reserves to the company that's able to extract it. That doesn't mean the company therefore owns the reserve.
So for some minute, let's say me and you decide to start an oil company, right? Let's say I struck oil on my land and I'm like, hey, 1stAmender, hey, you're pretty good with all the machines and stuff. Hey, how about, look, I have the oil. How about you bring your company in and you could start drilling for oil?
Yeah.
And yeah, you could lease it from me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We make a deal where you could take my oil and sell it, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, 1stAmender, I'm like, hey, you know what? How about you sell majority stake in your company to me? And you're like, no way. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just going to take it then. And I'm the owner of this and there's nothing you could do. And then I just pretty much had majority ownership of those machines and all the equipment and everything. And all of a sudden I just took most of it.
That
would you be like, oh, that's just...
But that doesn't give you ownership of the reserve. Do you understand there's a difference between the ownership of the machinery and the reserve?
But I still needed your
Did you actually not... Wait, hold on. Do you understand the difference between those two things?
Yes, I do.
So were you aware that Venezuela owned 100% of the reserves and not the machinery?
So
and that 70%, by the way, was owned by the United States private investments. Right?
All right. So going back to the hypothetical 1stAmender, let's say your son or relative eventually comes in. You're not engaging with me. I wasn't even finished and you just interrupted me.
Just go.
Listen, 1stAmender, listen, I apologize, 1stAmender. You could talk. What was the question again? I don't want to hurt your feelings.
You're not engaging. I'm trying to get you to understand that the United States at no point owned the oil. They don't have a right to just take the oil. Right? And
well, they have the force, don't they?
Okay, so then as long as there's enough force, you could just take whatever you want, right?
If you're the United States, sure, why not? Who's going to stop us?
Okay, so you are justifying theft, and that's the justification. You're strong enough. So basically, if I got a gang of people, I could then take all your stuff because that would be justified.
Yeah. So in your hypothetical, you're ignoring all the crimes that Maduro has allegedly done.
No. I'm perfectly acknowledging that. He's a terrible person. I agree with you. I'm saying you're making a might is right argument. So if I get enough people, I could come to your house, take all your shit, and guess what? That's justifiable to you.
In this specific instance, sure, why not?
Debate's over. I don't know what. Hey, I'll be honest. I don't know what else to say. His concession is that.
My concession?
Cool. Yeah.
I'm arguing that
cool,
it's justifiable.
Your argument.
How did I lose
your
the
argument
debate?
is you just lost the debate. You're arguing it's okay to steal if you're strong enough.
I said in this particular instance, 1stAmender, how stupid would we be if we went in there, right? Arrested Maduro and then didn't get those oil reserves, which again, U.S. companies, what's it called? They might not have owned the reserves, but they own the machinery. It was stolen from them first. If we didn't take it and use it for ourselves, which benefits you and me.
You're still justifying stealing. I don't care if it benefits me. Yeah, I get it. I could steal your stuff and it would benefit me. That doesn't make it right. This is like elementary school level morality. Like don't steal other people's stuff.
So we should, okay, go arrest Maduro, right? Arrest Maduro, put him on trial or whatever. Just take back all the refineries and everything and just leave the oil alone.
it's not yours.
You didn't answer the question.
You leave the oil alone. It's not yours. You don't own it.
That's complete. First Amendment, that is freaking dumb.
Okay, and then in your mind, you believe if you're just strong enough, you could just take the stuff and that's justifiable to you. Justice to you is enough guns. I guess. I mean, if you want to do that, and I guess if you want to live in like Mad Max, where it's okay for international governments to come in and I mean, hold on. Who's to say
we're living in Mad Max now?
I'm saying if we followed your argument to the nth degree, that's what morality would look like.
So we're Mad Max now, is what you're saying.
I need
That's
you to
what
be
you said. You said
serious for a second
we're
here.
going to have a Mad Max because we took the oil.
I'm saying if we followed your morality, it would be Mad Max. If everybody believed what you believe for morality and saying that what makes it right is to have enough guns, then you're effectively arguing for a Mad Max society. So here's the thing, right? I'm almost positive that you've got to be a genuinely, like a genuine person, right? You're a genuine person. You have beliefs. I have beliefs. I get that we disagree with one another, but I kind of want to get, us to like at least somewhat on the same page, right? We both agree stealing is wrong, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And just cause I got a bigger stick doesn't mean I have a right to steal from you, right?
Well, rights technically don't exist, but sure.
I'm saying like I shouldn't, like just from a moral standpoint, it is wrong to steal just because I have a bigger stick.
What morality do you base it from?
Human reason.
Human reason, huh?
Yes.
Just human reason?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with this human reason. Okay, so let's say a transgender wants to go into a woman's sport, right? Would they be stealing a spot from an actual woman?
What does this have to do with the debate prompt?
Well, you want to moralize on stealing. Would that be stealing a spot from a biological woman?
We both agree that stealing is wrong.
But
here you are making a might is right argument. It's not related.
It's not. Just engage, please. Can you just engage? I asked you a question. Would that be stealing a spot from a biological woman?
No.
Anyway,
it has nothing to do. This debate has nothing to do with trans people. I have no idea why you're bringing up trans people. So
it's because that's we both stealing, and that would be stealing a spot.
We both agree that stealing is wrong. Knowing that Venezuela rightfully owned the reserves, while you might have somewhat of an argument, you could take back the machinery on top. That doesn't give you a right to take the actual oil.
Well, it says who? Says who?
Says you. You just agreed that stealing is wrong. Holy crap, dude. How do you have 20,000 subscribers? You agreed to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you're trying to moralize to me that stealing is wrong. Well, where do you get your morality from?
What do you mean trying to moralize to you? We both agree stealing is wrong.
Well, you just said that it's not stealing a spot from a biological woman if a transgender woman goes in there.
We're not talking about trans people.
I guess
Why do you talk about trans people?
Because that has to do with your moralizing to me about
we
stealing.
We can talk about morals. I'm talking specifically about stealing.
Well, you brought up morals.
I'm bringing up the morality of stealing based on the debate prompt. The debate prompt is Trump is justified on how he has handled the Venezuela situation. You say stealing is wrong. Is it fair to say stealing is unjustified considering it's wrong?
Stealing is unjustified. I said in this particular situation because Maduro, again, for all the alleged crimes that he has done and perpetrated against the American people, how he treated his own people. In this situation, it would be stupid if we went in there and didn't take the oil.
Holy pivot, Batman! You should be a basketball player. Now, do you want to answer my question?
I did.
No, you didn't. If stealing is wrong, then would it be fair to say that stealing is unjustified?
So we shouldn't have taken the oil. We should just leave it there.
He
and be
can't
like,
answer the
okay.
question. If stealing is wrong, would it be fair to say that stealing is unjustified?
Well, Maduro stole it first.
He can't answer the question.
And
Dude,
by the way, wouldn't it
just
be,
answer the question. Why can't you answer the question?
I did. They stole it first, and taking the oil, wouldn't that be constant
I'm once
compensation
again
for everything?
explaining to you that at no
you're not
point
engaging.
did
You're not
any
engaging
company ever,
hypothetical.
he's
You're not
crashing out.
engaging.
Did any company
You're crashing
ever
out.
own the reserves? They didn't. We are physically taking the oil
Wouldn't you
for
consider that
ourselves.
compensation?
We already did that.
Wouldn't
We
you-
stole from their oil tankers. Trump had acknowledged that we stole from their oil tankers and that we were going to sell it. We don't have a right to that oil. So, knowing that we stole it, I'm going to ask you once again, is stealing justified?
I'm not going to answer that until you answer my question.
Why not?
What if-
I was the one that
I've been
asked
trying
the
to ask you.
question.
No. I already.
Oh my God. That's
So,
absolutely
Speakeazy, I was trying to ask
wild.
him a question.
I can hear you, by the way, if I walk away. These are wireless, Brainiac.
Okay, I wasn't saying anything I didn't want you not to hear, dummy. Anyway, so I was trying to ask you, but you kept interrupting. What about compensation from what they stole from us?
Great, then we can talk about that, but that doesn't give you a right
what
to
I've been
steal
trying to
the
talk
oil
about.
itself. That doesn't give you a right to steal the oil itself. So I'm going to ask you the question again. You're avoiding it. Is stealing justified?
I already answered the question.
No, you didn't. That's a yes or no question. Don't answer my question with another question or obfuscate with further details. I'm asking you, is stealing justified?
Well, wait a minute. I asked you a question you didn't answer. You just said we could talk about it. So let's talk about it then.
Is stealing justified? Yes or no?
Is stealing justified? Well, is stealing good? No, stealing isn't good.
Is stealing justified?
Let's
I didn't
say,
ask if
no,
it was good or
stealing
bad.
isn't-
I'm asking, is it justified?
Okay, let's just go with no, so we could go back to the compensation thing.
Okay. So knowing that you're stating that Trump is justified in how Trump has handled the Venezuela situation, knowing that the Trump administration literally stole, and you are saying that stealing is unjustified, that means you just lost the debate.
So the prompt isn't is stealing justified, was Trump handle the Venezuela situation justified? I've already answered that, by the way. I answered your question, so we can move on.
And the way that he handled it was that one of the things that he did was he stole from Venezuela.
Well, no, that's compensation.
So he's not
for when
justified.
Maduro stole from us. Okay, if it's compensation, then it's justified, isn't it?
Oh man.
Just to try and bridge a gap here, I think what's happening is, I think Cool Vic is, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, Cool Vic is saying that, yes, stealing is wrong, but in this situation, it wasn't stealing. It was something else.
What
Am
was
I
it?
correct there?
Yes,
What
you are
was it?
correct.
Okay.
It was compensation from what they stole from us.
Okay. So you're telling me that it's effectively like a spoil of war.
A spoil of what war? We just went and took it. What war are we in? We're going back to the other question.
We just deposed the president.
Okay, are we in a war? Is there a battle going on in Venezuela? U.S. troops versus Venezuelan troops? Is there a war?
Do we have a right to assert control over Venezuela's government and natural resources?
I just asked you a question. No, now who's not answering questions?
Go ahead, ask your question.
I
I wasn't
did.
paying attention.
Are we in a? I wasn't paying attention. Are we in a war with Venezuela right now? Are we having two armies battle? Is it a war going on in Venezuela right now?
I mean, there's not a battle right now at this moment, but
Okay,
you've already
then.
agreed that deposing a leader and taking them for, like, I don't know, as a prisoner of war is effectively an act of war to the United States, why would it not be an act of war to Venezuela? Of course it would be.
Because we're not in a war.
I'm saying it, yeah, not to us, but it's a war to them.
To
just as
who?
you would agree that it would be a war
The
if it happened
Venezuela
to
people
you.
were celebrating. The Venezuelan people were celebrating.
It's
what
very,
war?
it's very mixed. It's
Very
and by the
mixed.
way, I understand
overwhelming.
why people would initially celebrate, but I guarantee you Venezuelan people are not going to celebrate when they realize that the oil is going to be taken on behalf of the United States' interest and screw the Venezuelan people.
I don't think that's going to screw the Venezuelan people.
What is the one thing Venezuela has that gains them money?
Oh, so is that what's happening? We just took all the oil. We're not going to offer Venezuela any kind of deal or anything like that. Is that what's going on?
I mean, we just deposed them and said that we're going to take the oil. And then we told companies that we would guarantee that. And President Trump said that himself. Yeah, we're going to take the oil. I have zero belief that Donald Trump gives a flying fuck about Venezuelan people.
I don't give a shit what you think about 1stAmender.
I'm telling you that Trump doesn't care about Venezuelan people. Do you think he honestly cares about Venezuelan people?
Oh, are you a mind reader?
I'm asking you. That's not
I don't
me
know
mind
because
reading.
I'm not
I'm
a mind
asking.
reader. I'm not a
Jesus.
mind reader, so I don't know. Are you a mind reader?
No, but what I can do is
Okay,
look at
then.
previous. What I can do is look at previous actions of what people have done and what are their motivations from there based on their actions. Donald Trump has never shown any desire for taking care of other people. It's always been for himself. He's always benefited himself. That's why he's made over $1.8 billion since taking the presidency. It's made him a lot of money to be that way. So again, I have zero indication that Donald Trump doesn't even care about quote unquote Democrat run cities. Why would I assume he gives a crap about Venezuelan people?
Oh, is that why he's agreed to work with Tim Waltz and Fry in Minnesota? Is that why he's agreed to work with them?
After negotiations with them, and I have no idea what even was struck. And secondly, just FYI, that only happened after the very much unjustifiably killing of an innocent civilian in broad daylight that nobody can justify.
Okay, so how do you know Trump didn't see that brutal killing, was like, okay, listen, I got to cool the temperatures here since the Democrats don't want to do it, and decided to
Since the Democrats don't, he's the one that caused it.
By trying
anyway,
to
and also
law.
This has nothing to do with the debate prompt. Once again, this goes against United Nations Charter. This goes against the United States Constitution. This goes against the United Nations Security Councils. This also goes against your own morality. And I point it to you directly, and you just kind of dig your heels in. I don't know what else to tell you. You're just wrong on this debate. Listen, I want to approach this on, let's learn from one another. Nothing of what you have presented to me, I'm going to drag you kicking and screaming to learning. I'm going to drag you kicking and screaming. Nothing of what you have said is something that I have actually learned. It's all stuff I've already read about. I've already understood these viewpoints, and I took it into consideration. And I says, okay, well, what does the law actually? Okay. Yes. What does the law actually say? What the law actually says is against the argument that Trump is justified. A majority of the world agrees with me here.
The majority of the world agrees
legal
with
scholars. The United States legal scholars.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, damn, I didn't know that. Legal scholars agree with you?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I had no clue that. Damn. I don't know why you just didn't open with that and that'd be your only line. I freaking didn't know that. Anyway, they had a warrant for Maduro, okay? And it wasn't started by Trump. It was started a few administrations ago. Even Biden himself, during his presidency, rose the bounty. So it wasn't like this is just a Trump thing, okay? The U.S. has had issues with Maduro going back to 2011.
I mean, I guess that's a good question. What would be a proper legal way to depose Maduro? I get that he was wanted, and I agree with you. That doesn't mean that you can kidnap that president. Yeah, that's what we did.
So if you arrest someone, you're kidnapping them.
Yes, in the case of, he would have diplomatic immunity. You can't just kidnap a sitting president. You're not allowed to do that. So under UN Charter, as well as the U.S. Constitution.
So we just put bounties on forever and just hope one day they're just like, yeah, I'll just turn myself in.
Well, eventually what happens is that these people lose their majority votes, or they are no longer president, in which case we can collect them. But no, not while they're president. They have diplomatic immunity. It's the same reason why somebody can't come in and collect Donald Trump.
Technically, he is not President Maduro. He lost his election in his country. Thought you guys were all about democracy.
Technically, he was
and he
president.
Just stayed there.
Technically, he was president.
The people didn't want him, so he just, okay. Oh, now, if you want to go to morality, do you think that's right?
No.
Okay. So, but he was, do you think, so he was president just because he called himself president? He's in charge and he just called himself president?
That he had called, no, he had deposed people that were running against him.
So if Donald Trump did that, let's say in this next election, if he just decided, like, let's say he loses and then he just decides to like depose of his opponent and just declared himself president, you would think, oh, okay, well, he's president. That's our president.
Actually, I think that's a question I should ask you these midterms coming up. Do you think that if Donald Trump did that he'd be justified in doing that?
Well, you didn't answer my question.
No, I don't think anybody is justified in doing that. Now, do you think Donald Trump,
okay,
if Donald Trump did that during the midterms, if Donald Trump did that during the midterms, do you think that he shouldn't be president?
I'll just wait till you're done. Okay, you didn't actually answer the question. I said, would you call Donald Trump? No, you didn't. I asked if you would consider Donald Trump the president if he did that.
If I would consider Donald Trump is the president, whether I like it or not.
Okay, so if you were to do that and he just stayed in president, you would be like, that is my president, whether I like it or not. He's President Trump. I wouldn't
like it, but technically he would be the president.
Okay, so you would still consider him the president in that case. You wouldn't be like, oh, he's
legally speaking, blah, yeah. Blah,
blah. Okay. Now you want to re-ask your question again?
So again, Maduro has diplomatic immunity. You can't just collect him, legally speaking, right?
Well, going back to it, he's not the president. He lost.
Again, you can't just depose them. I conceded, yeah, you would have to acknowledge that he's still the president. So under that pretense, I'm asking you, you don't have a legal justification to being able to depose them. And you also conceded on the oil bit. You were incapable of handling the oil argument, and now you're incapable of handling this argument.
So yeah, so just because you wouldn't consider Trump the president, like I wouldn't consider him a legal president if he did that, for the record. But
I'll hold you to that. Time come the midterms.
Okay, so what about the midterms now?
It wouldn't surprise me if Trump will get into all sorts of shenanigans to enable the Republicans' control in the midterms.
Like what, 1stAmender?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you have an idea.
Maybe he calls one of the Democrat leaders running against him a narco terrorist, and then tries to arrest him. Maybe.
Well, that's crazy.
Which would be totally justified by your eyes.
What other theories would you have?
I'm just saying, as an example, that would be very likely. It would not surprise me.
Okay, well, what other theories do you think he would have that he would do?
I don't know. I would have to speculate. But again, I mean, none of this is addressing the theft of oil, nor does it address international law or the U.S. Constitution or the United Nations Charter. Donald Trump is going blatantly against all of those things, and a majority of countries agree.
Okay, you keep appealing to the other countries. I don't care what the other countries think.
I understand you don't. Okay? You think a bigger stick is what makes right. which is one of the
I
most
mean,
idiotic things I've ever heard.
Well, that it's true. It's just whether I like it or not, it's true.
That doesn't make it justified. Do you see the difference? I get you can get away with it. I get that I could beat you up in a parking lot or something, and I can take your wallet. This is figuratively speaking. I'm never going to do that, by the way. I get that it could be possible, but that doesn't make it justified.
Okay. All right. So anything else?
You have no rebuttal.
Yeah, well, I'm just because you're the one who brought up the whole if I have the bigger stick, and I'm just saying, and you were coming at me with the whole, well, you think that if someone has a bigger stick, then blah blah blah, and I'm just like, well, whether you like it or not, that's just the facts. And you keep talking about whether it's
I get
right
that
or
it's
justified.
the quote unquote facts. That doesn't make it justified.
Well, we had an arrest warrant for Maduro this whole time, and it didn't start with
Okay, but
Trump.
he's a president. You can't just depose a president by law. You're not allowed to just do that. Yes, he did technically. I mean, whatever. I mean, we can argue with the validity of the election. I don't know. We would have to investigate that specifically why he shouldn't be president. But he was technically president. He was in the United Nations. He was a leader of Venezuela. You can't just grab him and extradite him to the United States. You can't do that by law. If that was legal, then therefore just about any country that doesn't like Trump could potentially do the same to Trump.
And again, I would like to see them try.
But under your idea, it would be justified if they have enough might.
Well, they don't have enough might. That's the thing.
I'm asking you, if they had enough might, would it be justified?
Let's see. If they were to do it to our president, yeah. Well, justified. I don't know about justified, but I wouldn't like
right?
it.
It's not justified.
I wouldn't like it.
Like, listen, I don't want anything bad to happen to Trump. I would not think it's justified that some foreign body, I don't know, raids the White House and grabs him or pulls him out of Mar-a-Lago while he's golfing or whatever.
Is there any arrest warrants for Trump from anywhere in the world?
I'm actually kind of curious. Maybe there is.
Okay, well, I don't think there is.
I'm not sure, but I'm saying if there were. Iraq issued an arrest warrant.
For Trump specifically?
Yep.
For what?
It looks like this was on the new Arab Iraqi officials seeking stronger U.S. ties amid Trump arrest warrant. I'll go ahead and share it real quick. Grant you, I want to let you know that I'm not in favor of Iraq coming in and deposing Trump and physically taking him. I'm saying, like, just because you have an arrest warrant doesn't mean that you should be able to depose a sitting president. So I'll share my screen real quick. Where is it? Hold on. This here? U.S.-Iraq relations. Let's see. Yep, already strained by an Iraqi arrest warrant issued 2021 for Trump. Warrant stems from a 2020 U.S. drone strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani and Iraqi militia leader Abdul Mahdi al-Muhadis. So yes, there is an arrest warrant for Trump according to Iraq. So by your logic, it would be fair to say that since there's an arrest warrant for Trump, if Iraq showed up with enough guys at, say, Mar-a-Lago, they would be justified.
I mean, I guess they would. I mean, I wouldn't like it, though. But I would like to see them try.
I don't think they would. Why would they be
justified?
Absolutely not. No.
Well, why?
This is why United Nations charters are important. That's why other countries getting in on this is important, right? I understand you don't care what other countries think, but having countries agreeing to sets of terms and conditions saying, hey, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, is important. It makes it justified to not do a thing. So Donald Trump specifically deposing Maduro is unjustified. And this is just grabbing him and his wife. I don't know why you would even grab his wife. What's the point of that? That's just kidnapping at that point. What did his wife do exactly? She didn't have any power. And you're going to take these people, extradite them to the United States, have a completely classified hearing. Who knows what the hell is going on? We don't know what's in the evidence. We don't know anything.
Okay. So, damn it, you just made me lose my freaking train of thought. I had a rebuttal to that and I freaking forgot it. Oh yeah. Then so how come he hasn't been brought up on charges? How come there has been no arrest of Donald Trump for this or anything like that? How come that hasn't happened?
Because Donald Trump is the leader of the world's most powerful government on planet Earth. And he has also filled himself with, and including the Department of Justice, a bunch of sycophants that will look the other way for every little thing that he does.
Okay, so you acknowledge that, yes, we are the most powerful in the world, but also how come no other presidents, again, this isn't the first time this has happened. Other presidents done this, okay? Like they have broken international law. Mm-hmm. How come they were never arrested?
So I agree with you that we could look at things like, Obama's drone strikes or Bush's war in Iraq. And I do believe that these people should be tried. I think that would make it more just. But again, the question is Trump justified in how he has handled the Venezuela situation? And to me, the answer is pretty clear. The answer is no. And I am consistent. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat. I'm looking at what is just, what is the right thing to do.
Well, the reason I brought up the other presidents is because you made it specifically about Trump. You're like, Trump has all these sycophants working for him in the Department of Justice, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
The prompt.
I was like, okay, well, what about the other presidents that didn't get arrested for this, though? I asked you a question about Trump.
If there are instances of other presidents doing bad things to other countries, then they should be tried as well. I'm not against that. I don't care if it's Obama, Trump, Biden. I don't care. None of that matters. What matters is upholding a just and peaceful world. Trump is not justified in grabbing Nicolas Maduro and his wife and then going for, I can't even say if it's a show trial or not, because we don't even know what the trial is about. Mm-hmm. They won't show it. It's classified. Don't you think it's weird that it's classified? Why wouldn't they show that?
I don't think it's weird that it's classified. Why should it be shared? Like, why? What good is that going to do?
So that way we know things are being done in a just way and people can review it. It's the first time the United States has ever extradited a sitting president. It's unprecedented.
Yeah, but I don't see what. So, okay, so we look it over and we go, yep. Okay. Like, even if I read it over and I spurg out and be like, no, this is actually wrong. Okay. What are we going to do about that?
Well, wouldn't it be a good thing that like, we know that they're actually following the UN Charter? They're not doing that. We know they're not doing that.
Oh, okay.
They're also not following the U.S. Constitution.
Wait, what U.S. Constitution? I mean, well,
not the U.S. Constitution.
No, yeah, I've
already listed it in my intro.
I misspoke.
I listed it in my intro.
Yeah, what part?
No, you can't use. You have to use the congressional approval.
Yeah, but there's so many people working against Trump in Congress. Do you think it would be smart to do that?
What?
Like, it was a.
They have the majority in Congress.
No, all it takes is for one person to leak. Here are the plans for that operation to go awry.
But it has to have congressional approval. Despite how you feel, despite how it is, you can't simply depose a sitting president without congressional approval.
Yeah,
that
there's
is
a lot
an
of
act
things,
of that is a
1stAmender.
potential act of war, and you've already agreed that it would basically be an act of war if somebody did that to President Trump. If Iraq showed up with 1,000 guys and they overwhelmed the scant military that's there in Mar-a-Lago, and then they take Trump, you would not consider that justified. Obviously not, right?
Listen, here's the thing is, like, I want to, there's things I want to ask you or bring up, but then you cut me off and you prattle and then I fucking forget.
Well, you do me a
Anyway,
favor, right? Get a notepad out and write down what it is that you want to say, and then say the thing. I don't.
Yeah, but then I won't be fully paying attention, will I? So listen, here's the thing.
I could think and I can listen to
all
you
it
and
all
type
it takes
at the
is
same time.
there's a lot of things that shouldn't be done. Okay, if someone were to leak that, that shouldn't be done either, right? Wouldn't that be going against America's interest?
I'm sure there's lots of things that would go against America's interest that would break the Constitution.
So
Right?
that's
I think
yes,
I think it's in favor of America's interest to enact red flag laws, and some people think that breaks the Second Amendment. I don't think it does, considering the fact that it's a well-regulated militia, and that we already have regulations on guns. But some people have that perspective. So here's the thing, right?
So the answer is yes, then that would go against America's interest.
Here's the thing. Yes, sometimes following the law goes against America's interest. Yes. Yeah. Like here, it's in America's interest to, I don't know, go to Australia, kill all the Australians, and then take Australia for our own resources. There's a lot of good resources there. It would be in America's interest to do something like that. Is that right? Is that justified? Absolutely not. It would be a genocide of Australian people. It would be using a big giant gun, which to you, that's somehow justified. Here's the thing. Drug trafficking, however devastating, that doesn't constitute an armed attack or nor is it recognized under any interpretation of international law. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah. Okay. Going back to the leaking, though, so you just said, oh, okay, well, that would go against America's best interest. But you said, well, as long as it's legal, but still, like, that's why he didn't want to ask congressional approval, because there's so many people working against him.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's against the law, which is what is that would be unjust if you didn't follow the law, right?
Yeah. So then how would that be useful?
Is it unjust if you don't follow the law?
I'm not finished, Amender. So how
it was a question. You're not answering the question.
Yeah, I was still talking. You can't just ask questions.
It's because you're not answering the question
while I'm talking.
That was a yes or no question.
Because I was still talking, 1stAmender.
Then talk.
Okay, you can't just ask me a question while you're the one that's like, oh, can you just engage, please? Oh, you're the one crying over it. So, going back early, how useful do you think it would be that we have this operation, right? And then they get congressional approval, and then they leak it, and then Maduro gets away. Like, that was a pretty, that operation was pretty precise. Everything had to go perfect in order to pull that off. And it was a great operation. It was a perfect operation that everything had to be perfect. They couldn't risk anything.
Okay. You still require congressional approval. Like, it doesn't matter if it was perfect or whatever. To do what Trump did requires congressional approval. I would imagine following the law would in fact be just, and not following the law would be unjust. Donald Trump specifically didn't follow the law. I get that it's not pragmatic. That doesn't matter. You still require congressional approval to do that.
Yeah. So do you think the law is always moral?
No.
Okay, then. So why are you like, well, he still has to follow the law?
Because that's what's just versus unjust, not what's
Okay, so
moral
following the
versus
law-
immoral.
You're the one who brought up morality. So, okay, so the law, following the law is just, but so the
You
law
brought
comes
up
before
morality. Just now. What do you mean?
brought up morality. No, earlier in this debate, 1stAmender. Anyway, so following the law is more important than morality. Following the
Man.
law is more important than morality. Is
If
that
you
what you're
could get
saying?
20,000 subscribers, I can get 100,000. I promise you.
Well, how come you don't? You seem to have a lot of struggle with that, 1stAmender.
Actually, I've been growing. You'll see. You'll see. Watch me. Watch me.
Yeah, very slowly.
By the way,
but surely.
subscribe
Playing
if you like me fucking owning this fucking 20K subscriber boy. All right. Take a look at this, right? This is from the New York
Hey,
bar.
Answer my question. I asked you a question, Mister. You got to answer my question.
What's your question?
So following the law, following the law is more important than following morality.
So if you're asking, no, I believe following morality is more important than following the law. Yes.
Okay, then. Well, then there you go. So it doesn't matter if he got the congressional approval. And by
Okay.
the way, he wasn't the first president not to get congressional approval.
That would mean he's unjustified in how he handled the Venezuela situation.
No,
Right,
he's
'cause
completely justified because there was a warrant.
Yeah. All right. So
That wasn't started by him, by the way.
So get this, right? This is straight from the New York bar. This is the New York bar analyzing what Donald Trump had did. This is the legal experts. This is the people that you need to go to if you plan on practicing in the state of New York. It says here, the administration's reliance on self-defense to justify its actions in Venezuela, premised on the alleged drug trafficking linked to the Venezuelan government, has no basis in international law. The self-defense exemption of Article 51 of the Charter is narrow and applies only in response to an actual or imminent armed attack. Drug trafficking, however devastating, does not constitute an armed attack under any recognized interpretation of international law. Accepting such a theory would undercut the Charter's central prohibition and convert self-defense from a limited exception into a standing license for unilateral war. As Professional Uwa Hathaway, a professional of international law at Yale School and director of the Yale Law School Center of Global Legal Challenges, recently explained, if drug trafficking could justify an attack, so too could communicable diseases, migration flows, or economic harm, leaving no meaningful legal limit on the unilateral use of force. That's not the letter of the law, and so therefore it would not be justified, right?
Well, how come he hasn't been arrested for Samender?
I've already explained this. You're asking the same question and you want to, what, me to explain it
It
the
keeps
same
coming
question
around
again?
to this because it keeps coming around. You keep saying he broke
He's
international law, he
surrounded
did this. So
himself with
how come
sycophants.
he
That's why he hasn't been tried. He's surrounded
how
himself.
come-
He has filled the Department
Going
of
around
Justice
again,
with a bunch of
going around
morons
again.
that will follow everything that he says, despite the fact that he is blatantly breaking the law.
Yeah. Okay. So then how come if it's just him and he's filled up with sycophants and stuff, how come the previous presidents haven't been arrested for when they did the same thing and broken international law?
I believe that they should, but many have not done so. I mean, if you have an argument there, and I agree with you, those are also unjust. York, the question is not whether or not that they have been arrested. The question is Trump justified in how he has handled the Venezuela situation? And strictly by even United States Charter or the UN Charter or international law, no, he's not justified. He's broken literally almost every freaking law in the book on this. And international law scholars agree with this.
Okay, are the scholars going to be recommending arrests?
I think by the time that Donald Trump loses power, and everybody that signed up for this, that curtailed justice in favor of Donald Trump and let him do whatever he wanted, I think that there will be a legal precedent to go after people like that. Yeah. I think the Democrats are coming for it. Yeah. I think that's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you laugh at international law standards and, you know, anything that is just, and say, as long as I have the biggest stick that makes me right, as if that's remotely justified.
No, because you're a mystery. Yep. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Again, so but who would arrest Trump if that were the case? If he broke international law, who would
I think
arrest
Trump will be dead by the time that he is done. It would not surprise me if Trump died midway through his president. He's old. He's really, really old. I don't think anything's going to happen to Trump. But likely what will happen are the people that curtailed to Trump and let him get away with blatantly breaking the law when they were in a seat of power to actually do something about it.
Isn't that what you're hoping for, though? Aren't you hoping like, oh yeah, Trump's old?
I don't think I'm hoping. I think that will happen. I don't need a hope.
Well, eventually, of course, he's going to die. We're all going to die.
Either no, not that he's going to die. I'm saying that people that looked the other way for Trump blatantly breaking the law. I mean, this is much worse than even the Watergate scandal. Like it blows me away that we went completely insane over the Watergate scandal. This is way worse than the Watergate scandal. And you're acting like it's nothing, like it doesn't matter. Like we are so desensitized to this that something like the Watergate scandal, that was horrible, nightmare, terrible thing. But that it literally shook the ground of Republicans. And yet now we look at this and we're like, whatever. He just took a president. Who cares?
Well, I mean, yeah, he was a drug head of the what is it? The cartel of the Suns. Yeah. Okay. Trafficking drugs and stuff.
Drug trafficking doesn't constitute an armed attack under any recognized interpretation of international law. And the New York bar agrees with that.
Okay. So why isn't he being arrested?
Because he's the president. He's immune, idiot. Yeah.
I thought no one was above the law, First Amender.
Oh, well, according to Trump, he is now above the law. Yeah, but that doesn't make it justified. It's unjust.
President, not just him. Previous presidents.
I don't know what else.
Weren't arrested.
I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know. This is wild.
Just you keep saying, well, he broke international.
This, yeah, because you can't address it. You've not addressed anything of what I've said.
Well, why hasn't he been arrested?
He keeps doing it. It's.
You're not answering the question because
yes, I have. I've answered it. I've answered it up teen ways. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you got to get a notepad to determine what are my answers. Because I don't know. Maybe you've got dementia like Donald Trump. Maybe you're suffering a stroke,
or like Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I keep asking. Why has he been arrested? You're so sure he's broken international law and stuff. Then why hasn't he been arrested? You just keep saying, well, he's the president. He's immune. Okay, well, then if he's immune, then technically he didn't break any law then.
Okay. Keep telling yourself that. It makes it unjust. Just because people are just like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong.
How is it unjust if he's able to do it? If he's immune, how is it unjust then? Then you're just bringing up a
morality point. If I am able to show up to a parking lot and shoot you and then take your stuff, that doesn't make it just, right? I get that I can do it. Somebody could do that, right? But that doesn't make it just. Now
you're bringing back the morality. You're bringing it back to morality.
Yeah, we can bring up the morality, and your morality is stealing's okay as long as you're strong enough.
I didn't say it was okay.
Yeah, you did.
I never said it was okay.
I've already clipped that short. That short. This video isn't even done. I've already clipped that short. It's insane.
With might makes smart right, or with might makes, it's might makes, not might makes right.
So when you say that, hey, we're strong enough, we could just take it, that's literally what might makes right to you. Because the question is whether or not Trump is justified. Do you understand?
Because Maduro was committing crimes by trafficking drugs, which are going to be
not a justification to depose a president.
No,
it's not a justification to depose a president.
Law to morality.
Yeah, because you can't address either of them.
Morality.
Yeah, you can't address either of them. No matter what angle I take, it doesn't work.
You can't address it.
I've addressed it multiple times.
No, you haven't. I asked why hasn't it being arrested, and
we gotta go to Q&A. This guy is on crash out mode.
Yeah, okay, you keep coping. So if he's immune, then legally he didn't do anything wrong. Then so you have to bring it out. Okay. Anyway, so if he didn't break any law, then you have to bring it back to morality, which you keep switching back and forth to.
I can bring up the morality, it's wrong, and I can bring up the legality, it's wrong. No matter what angle I look at it, it's wrong. It's just wrong, right? And I brought up relevant information to show that it is wrong, even by United States standards. You can completely ignore the international community, it's still wrong.
Then why hasn't he been arrested under law?
Because he's the president.
Well, then he didn't do anything wrong then legally. If he's the president.
That's not how that works. Can Biden do something wrong? If he's president,
no
can Biden do something wrong?
Well, if we're talking about legally, yes, of course he has. But how? What?
But he's the president. How can he do something wrong?
All right. So that is the hour of back and forth. Usually I like these days we've been offering, I don't know, it seemed like we were going around in circles a little at the end, but I do still like to offer, but before we go into closings, if you guys wanted an extra 30 minutes of open floor.
No, I'm good. We've been going around in circles.
Okay, perfect. So first off, we let everyone in the chat know that we are going to be getting into the final stage here, okay? We're going to get into the closing statements. Just a reminder for everyone in the chat, okay? The Q&A is there, but if you want to make sure your questions get answered, send a super chat, PayPal, or Cash App, because these will take priority. And if it takes the whole 30 minutes of the Q&A, we may not get to the free chat questions. So if there's something you really want guaranteed, make sure you send it through one of those options. All right. So with that being said, we're going to move into closing statements. Each debater is going to get 5 minutes to make their final case here. So we're going to start with Cool Vic. Cool Vic, whenever you're ready to make your closing statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yeah. So listen, like I said, if he did something illegal, then how come he hasn't been arrested yet? Okay, well, if he's immune to it, well, then there you go. Then I guess technically he didn't bring any break any laws. If it's a morality thing, I would like to know what First Amender's morality basis other than human reasoning. Bottom line is Maduro, we had a warrant out for Maduro's arrest, and we arrested him. We did it seamlessly. The Venezuelan people are happy. He was committing crimes even morally and legally against this country. President Trump wasn't the one that put out the warrant for his arrest. Again, this started back in 2011 under Obama. Joe Biden even raised the bounty. So this isn't just a Trump thing. Okay, this is us going against Maduro has been a thing since 2011. So do I think Donald Trump was just? Yes, I do think he was. And I'll see the rest of my time. Oh, and also, hold on. Also, even though it get heated, I would like to thank 1stAmender for this debate. Thank you very much. And also thank you once again to Speakeazy for hosting this debate and having me on for my first time. Thank you guys very much.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. And with that, we are going to hand the mic over to 1stAmender. So whenever you're ready, 1stAmender, for your closing statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yep. The New York Bar Association condemns in the strongest possible terms President Donald Trump's decision to use U.S. military force in Venezuela to seize President Nicolas Maduro, assert control over the country's oil reserves, and effectively run the nation until a new leader is acceptable to the Trump administration is installed. These actions are blatantly illegal under both U.S. constitutional law as well as international law. First, under U.S. law, the president does not have authority to initiate hostilities against a foreign nation without congressional approval. Article 1 of the Constitution explicitly gives Congress, not the president, the power to declare war. The War Powers Resolution Act of 1973 reinforces this, allowing unilateral presidential action only in cases of self-defense or to protect U.S. forces. Venezuela did not attack the United States. and the administration has cited no statute authorizing this operation. Calling a military invasion a law enforcement action does not change its legal reality. Second, the administration's claims that operation was merely to arrest Maduro on U.S. criminal charges is plainly a pretext. Arresting a foreign head of state through military incursion is not law enforcement, it is regime change by force. The seizure of territory, resources, and political control confirms that this was never about a simple arrest. Under international law, the illegality is just as clear. The United Nations Charter, a binding treaty that is ratified by the United States, prohibits the threat or use of force against another nation except in self-defense or with Security Council authorization. Neither condition is met here. Venezuela did not consent. The United Nations did not authorize force, and there was no armed attack against the United States. The administration's attempt to justify this invasion as an act of self-defense based on alleged drug trafficking tied to the Venezuelan government has no basis in international law. Self-defense under the United Nations Charter applies only to actual imminent armed attacks. Drug trafficking, however serious, is not an armed attack. Accepting this argument would effectively erase the Charter's limits on war and would allow military invasions based on almost any cross-border harm, from migration to disease to economic disruption. Nor does the existence of criminal charges against Maduro justify military force. Criminal jurisdiction and head of state immunity are legal questions for courts, not excuses for invasion. Historically, when the United States has used force abroad for arrests, it has been done either with the host nation's consent or in response to armed attacks. Neither applies here. The administration has also suggested that Maduro's disputed legitimacy and Venezuela's human rights violations justify intervention. The bar has condemned those abuses, including Venezuela's illegitimate 2024 election, but violations of democracy or human rights do not authorize unilateral military action. If they did, the prohibition on war would be meaningless. Most alarming is that the president stated his intention to, quote-unquote, run Venezuela and control its oil industry. There is no legal basis, domestic or international, for the United States to govern foreign country or seize its natural resources. This constitutes as an unlawful military occupation and pillage, conducted prohibition even during wartime. The president also has no constitutional authority to administer foreign, state, or occupy it without explicit congressional authorization and funding. History underscores the danger of this path. When the United States invaded Panama in 1989 and seized its leader, the action was widely condemned by the international community as a violation of international law. That invasion damaged U.S. credibility and reinforced global resistance to unilateral military force. President Trump's action represent a return to discredited gunboat diplomacy, the idea that might makes right. For decades, the United States has worked imperfectly but intentionally to replace the model with an international system governed by law rather than force. This operation abandons that commitment. Congress must act. Members of Congress are bound by their oaths to defend the Constitution and the United States treaties, including the United States Charter. At minimum, Congress should pass a resolution condemning the abduction of Maduro and any attempt to control Venezuela or its oil resources, and immediately block funding for any continued occupation or intervention. If those measures fail, Congress must turn to its remaining constitutional tool, impeachment, to retrain a president whose lawless action threatened not only American democracy, but global peace and stability. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. And that will conclude the closing statements. Great work from both debaters tonight. Again, in the chat there, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the debates we host here on Swords of Reason. We run all kinds of matchups, political, cultural, social, philosophy, internet beefs even, okay? Anything where the conversation is worth clashing over, we bring it in the arena. And don't forget to subscribe to tonight's debaters as well. Their links are both in the description. Make sure you show them some support for stepping into the arena and sharpening their arguments tonight for us all. All right. And before I start the timer for the chat Q&A, I always like to ask a question or two to each debater myself based on either things I heard, argument I want clarified, something I think was missed, anything like that. And then once those questions are answered, we'll get into the official 30-minute Q&A. So my first questions are going to be for the affirmative. So if even if Maduro is like a bad actor, we'll just say the word bad actor for the numerous things he's allegedly done. What limits should exist on the U.S. power abroad, and how do you know Trump didn't cross that line here?
Yeah, and that's a good question. The limit, like obviously there's going to be going too far. Like if Trump were to have just like honestly, like starting a new war, like not a fan of new wars and such, which we're not in with Venezuela. It was just a swift operation. We're not sending troops over there. There's not an active war going on. So with the Maduro, like if it was just like an innocent leader or something, that would be different. But Maduro was not an innocent. So I guess that's all I got to say.
All right. Did you have anything for that, 1stAmender?
No, but that'll be a great clip.
All right. And then the next question is if our intervention leads to like instability now, or like sanctions backfiring, or a bunch of civilians suffering, like what point would it have to reach now for the for what happened to stop being justified?
It would have to get to the point where it was for them now under Maduro's reign. It would have to be just as bad or worse than that, I would think.
Okay. And did you have anything for that, 1stAmender?
Could you repeat your question? I was reading something.
Yeah, I had asked if like the intervention leads to like what we had done now leads to like sanctions backfiring or a whole bunch of civilian suffering. At what point, like what would it take for what we did to be to stop being justified?
I mean, there's an argument to be made. Let's say, for example, like that Maduro is an illegitimate leader. Then, I mean, I would be okay with putting Maduro back, but that there's international pressure to depose Maduro.
All right, and then then we'll move on to my questions for you. So if there is a foreign regime that is tied to drug trafficking that like is directly harming U.S. citizens, what specific line must be crossed before what we did becomes justified?
Military involvement is probably the issue that I uphold. There have been covert actions that have been done by the United States in the past, also ethically dubious, but one might be able to argue that that there would be some need for it. For example, CIA action, but I'm not even a fan of that.
All right. And did you have something for that, Kulvik?
No.
Okay. And then my next question is for 1stAmender is so what would be the realistic like alternative policy that would have produced better results without still empowering Maduro?
I don't know. That's a complex question. I would have to deal with international experts on that. I would likely want to get with coalition with, say, for example, China and actually have trade agreements that would prevent Maduro from gaining more power.
All right. And did you have anything for that, Kulvik?
No.
All right. So that we will get into the official Q&A here. We're going to start. Remember, guys, Super Chats and PayPals and Cash Apps gets priority. So if that fills up the whole 30 minutes, we may not get to your questions. So if you want to make sure you get something in, send it that way. But we don't have too much. We may get to it. We'll see. But let's start the timer up. First thing, we had War Dog. bumping up the membership. Shout out to you, War Dog. Thank you very much. Then we have Anthony Salea says, I'd like to see 1stAmender with his posse try to take anyone's shit. I think he's referring to...
The benefit that you have there is the fact that I think stealing is wrong, despite having more force to do so.
All right. $2 comes in from War Dog, says, explain taxes then.
Taxes are a justified use. I mean, if you want me to go into, you specifically benefit from taxation. There are people that are more educated around you as a result of taxes. We generate money by force, which, let's face it, I mean, the person who made this comment likely doesn't even own a house. So I have no idea what he's even complaining about in terms of quote unquote taxes. I likely pay more in taxes than this guy. The taxes themselves are done so that way society functions. One day, you will become old and you will be infirmed and incapable of taking care of yourself. This requires entire systems to be functional, which means taxation. So yes, taxation is just.
Do you think all taxes are just?
No.
Okay, so what about those taxes then? Would that be considered stealing?
Maybe. We would have to discuss what specific taxes that we're talking about. I know that there's certain tax credits that I find morally abhorrent. And we could talk about that.
So wait, tax credits that you find abhorrent, like which ones?
There's like one that's called, it's not capital gains, but I'm trying to remember the name of it. I remember writing about it in a video. Basically it's a tax exemption, for hedge fund owners where, it's effectively like multi-billionaire level of money, just these faceless business people that they manage a hedge fund, and they give, I think it's like 8 or 9% to all of their investors, while they keep the rest of it for themselves. So let's say if they make 30% within that year with everybody else's money, they give the 9% to all of their investors, but then they take the rest of 21%. And then that is taxed actually at a lower rate than somebody making $50,000 a year, which I find morally abhorrent.
All right. We got Anthony Salea for $2 says, can I be Melly Gibson in Mad Max? Sure, Anthony. Yes, you can. I agree. Kokomo comes in for 20, says, just some love for Speaking Alicia. Thank you very much, Kokomo. I appreciate that big time. Anthony Salea says, for $5, says, are you controlling the water in the Citadel, 1stAmender? I see the starving populace in your background. Why are you controlling all the water?
It's
I see the waterfall. I get it.
It's mine.
Mo Rebuttal, member for 3 months. Thank you, Mo. In the lease with the U.S. oil companies, they did have the right to extract, take title, and sell oil once produced. Functionally, they stole it.
Yeah, again, they don't have ownership of the reserves. Try again. You could just Google this. They never owned the reserves.
All right. Gravios 24 for $20 says, I wouldn't even look at it as stealing. Moreso, it's spoils of a very short war. If you don't have the strength to defend your oil from other nations, it ain't your oil.
Yeah, so this is the same might is right argument. And so to you, it is just as long as that I have enough guns. I don't think that's what's just, and I would hope that most world leaders don't think like you, like freaking psycho. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like this is not just. Like stealing people just because you have more force doesn't make it right. I'm sorry.
All right. All right. $10 comes in from How Long Nate. This is for 1stAmender. The U.S. military took oil in the compensation for the equipment. Chavez stole it from U.S. companies. It wasn't stealing, it was repossession in kind.
I don't know what you're talking about specifically. I would have to look at like specifically what is going on there. I don't know. I would have to.
Okay. For $5, Premonition says Trump has paid off people's homes when in need. He has been helping people for years. He doesn't seek the attention for it.
What's so funny about that, 1stAmender?
He doesn't seek the attention. What the fuck? He's like the most famous person, like short of Adolf Hitler. What do you mean? He's the most attention-seeking person on planet Earth. Holy crap. Oh my God. That's like I look at Milo Yiannopoulos and it's like, he's not gay. Like, look at him. He's gay as shit. Like, what do you...
All right. All right. Thank you for that premonition. $5 from War Dog. Thank you very much. Every president has made money while in office, but Trump is also the only president to lose money in office as well.
Well, he made a lot more money than most other presidents. Like $1.5 billion is nothing to cough at. I'm not aware of any president that's made that much money. He's clearly benefited from the U.S. presidency, considering the fact, I mean, number one, he's not in prison because he's a president.
All right. All right. How Long Nate for $10 says 1stAmender's whole argument is Orange Man bad faith, emotional appeals do not constitute arguments. Vic rules. By the way, UN, NATO, and international courts have no teeth without the USA.
Also, the U.S. Constitution, don't forget that one. But I guess, does that have no teeth as well? But okay. And I love that I brought up relevant case law. And you say, my entire argument is Orange Man bad. If Biden was doing this, I would say that it goes against international law and I would be against it. This has nothing to do with Orange Man. This has to do with an action that is clearly illegal. And I would also argue that it is immoral as well. Stealing is wrong. Yeah, just because you have a bigger stick doesn't make it right. All of these are arguments. And no, it's not an emotional appeal to make that an argument. Holy crap. The guy didn't listen at all.
Well, it's just that judging by your cope laugh a little while ago when asked about how Trump, paid for people's homes and wasn't seeking attention, and also earlier how you're like, do you really think Donald Trump cares about the people of Venezuela? Assuming that you already know what Donald. Well, again, are you a mind reader, 1stAmender?
I don't have to be a mind reader to see how people act and then be able to understand what somebody is likely thinking. You probably think I'm an idiot, right? Oh, am I a mind reader?
Well,
no, I look at your actions and then I determine what you're thinking based on what your actions are. Jesus. I have to spell it out for this grade schooler. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, but what has Trump done that you're like, nah, he can't possibly care about the Venezuelan people?
He has consistently been extremely selfish for his entire life. He has been nothing but that. He received $450 million from his freaking daddy, and that's how he got wealthy. Like, this guy has sunk company after company after company, but despite all of his efforts, he was able to use the Trump name to be able to pull himself back up. That's what it was. He has been selfish his entire life. It has never not been that way. In fact, he's consistently used other people's money to build up things for it to ultimately go bankrupt and to legally put the banks on the hook on it instead of himself. Brilliant, really. Yeah, he's a suit. Yeah. All of those things.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. $20 comes in from Gravios24 again. Thank you very much, Gravios. Man, First Amender has some serious TDS. Dude is still disingenuous in every talk he gets in.
So it doesn't matter if Trump did this or if Biden did this, it would be the same problem that I'm having. It goes against international law. It's stealing. I don't know what to. It has nothing to do with Trump derangement syndrome. It's me upholding what's right. And a lot of the things that Trump is doing is wrong.
Yeah, actually, a little follow-up. You had mentioned earlier that you think past presidents that have done this are wrong too. For instance, like when we went and captured Saddam Hussein, like would you have said that was probably wrong too?
I mean, the capture of Saddam Hussein, I would probably say yes. But I think I'm saying yes in hindsight.
Okay.
What about Osama bin Laden? Because Obama didn't get congressional approval either to do that.
Totally okay to do that. No, he did get congressional approval, as well as approval from Pakistan to do it. So
Okay.
he was well within the law on that one.
Next one. Oh, I just scrolled myself up. Whoops. Where was I here? Oh, right here. $5 comes in from Prince of Dogs. Hold on now, guys. You might hurt his feelers. Thank you, Prince of Dogs. And Bandit for $2. Oh, did you want to say something?
Oh, no, I was just coughing. Yeah,
okay. Bandit for $2 says, First Amender going to take Vic to the Leering Center.
Based. The Leering Center.
Yeah. I totally leered stuff tonight. I did.
Oh, yeah, we're leering tonight. $5 from Bandit says, First Amender just conceded by his own argument. He just lost the debate.
Explain, because Cool couldn't do it.
I'm wondering what part this came in at too.
Yeah.
But thank you, Bandit, for the $5. $5 from Airborne Animal. Thank you very much. First Amender's logic, as he admitted, is might means right. So President Trump is completely justified in going in and arresting Maduro. W. Cool Vic.
I don't know what debate you were watching, because I never made an argument for might is right. That was Cool Vic who made the argument that might makes right. Yes, you did. And I will have a clip on it as well. I remember it very clearly. We have it.
I explicitly, well, are you going to clip the part where I said Mike makes and not Mike makes right?
Okay.
You're probably not, huh?
All right. Next one comes in from Bandit. First Amender, something being immoral is not the same as it being justified.
I agree. But it's both immoral and unjustified, and I showed how.
All right. $5 comes in from Sir Missile Monkey. Maduro ignoring the results of his own country's election equals he's the recognized leader and president. So elections just don't matter then?
So technically speaking, yes. I mean, is it that a bad thing? Sure. Is that there's something the international community can do with it? That doesn't give you a right to depose the president. No, you don't have that ability to do so, legally speaking.
All right. You got, okay. I thought you were going to say something there, cool, Vic. War Dog for $5 says, Biden, who gave the warrant order, thought it was justified.
I mean, you can give a warrant. That doesn't mean you could depose the president and take them away. You're not allowed to do that by international law. That's why Biden didn't do that.
All right. Another $5 from Airborne Animal. Thank you very much. First Amender, like most leftists, has no moral or logical consistency. He makes wild assertions without evidence and knows people's thoughts. Ridiculous.
So I didn't make any wild assertions. I brought up relevant legal precedent. I do have a moral and logical consistency. My morality is based off of human reason and what leads to better outcomes for people. You do not need to appeal to a god to do that. in terms of logical consistency. I find myself constantly trying to plug up any instance of a logical inconsistency, in which case, if somebody is able to find one, I'd be glad to listen to it, hear it out, and then retrain whatever it is that I missed. That has happened to me in the past. I'm always learning. I don't have perfect logic consistency. Neither do I think anybody else, for that matter. But in this particular argument, I don't believe I had any logical inconsistency here. I think it was completely logical. And making wild assertions, bringing up relevant case law is not a wild assertion. It is relevant case law specifically around the topic. It is not a wild assertion to do so. It is relevant, and says without evidence. That's just wrong. Again, relevant case law is not without evidence, and knows people's thoughts. Yes, it is possible to figure out what somebody is thinking based on actions they take. Yes, we do this all the time. It's called pattern recognition.
All right. Next one comes in just $2 from Sempiternal Chaos, just to show some support. Thank you very much, Chaos. Another $5 from Bandit says, what is this big pew that overthrew a government? I want one. Hell, I'll take two.
Mhm.
Thank you very much, Bandit. Oh, big pew. I think it means, okay. The big guns, you know?
Yeah, the big guns.
Yeah. War Dog for $20 says, if you have a warrant for crimes and property was seized, oil, in execution of said warrant, why would you consider that unjustified? Does American justice fall short of international justice?
Yes, it does currently. Under the Trump administration, which was my argument, why it is unjust. And why would I consider it unjustified? We never owned the reserves of oil. We can't just physically take that oil and then just say it's ours just because, I don't know, reparations for perceived drug offenses. Drug offenses do not give you a carte blanche to go in and take a sitting president. You're not allowed to do that. By United Nations Charter, United States Constitution, and international bodies. And I've presented my evidence for that, and none of that was rebutted.
All right. Next one is Mike, just coming in and becoming a member. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that big time. Another $5 from Airborne. Thank you very much. It says, non-lawyer First Amender keeps making wild legal assertions, which are directly contradicted by the DOJ legal opinions.
Yeah, I would imagine. Here's the thing. Like, if I asked the newscasters of North Korea what they think about North Korea, I'm sure they would like to come up with every single justification to Kim Jong-un. That doesn't make Kim Jong-un right. The Department of Justice was specifically filled in with sycophants of Donald Trump to affirm his position. So of course you're going to find confirmation from that. But we look at other sources that are not impeded by Donald Trump's attempt to fill as many justice departments with sycophants that will follow him to the end of the earth.
All right. And if you have anything for any of this, cool, Vic, you feel free to answer anything too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
okay.
No, I know.
We got $10 from Hall Long Nate. First Amender, where did you cite the writer of your closing statement?
Where did I cite the writer of my closing statement? I was just referencing the New York bar.
New York bar. All right. $10 from Trench Deacon. Thank you very much. What are the limits of presidential policing authority as commander-in-chief, considering wars like Vietnam or the global war on terror were never officially declared war or authorized by Congress?
Hold on. What are the limits on presidential policing authority as commander-in-chief, considering war in Vietnam and the global war on terror never officially declared war authorized by Congress? They were authorized by Congress. All of those were authorized by Congress. But yes, you're right that they were not legally considered war. Like we haven't done that since World War II, which is really sad, actually.
All right. War Dog for another $5. Thank you very much. Says, if you roofie someone's drink, is that not an attack? If so, then would the drug trade from Venezuela not also be an attack?
If you roofie someone's drink, is that not an attack? If so, would that drug trade from Venezuela also? No, it's just not an attack. It's just not. Under any pretense. It's just simply not that. I mean, maybe if they're poisoning the president directly, maybe you could make an argument there. But no. Simply drug trafficking is not a justification to that.
What if it was a consistent thing? So let's say it's like let's say it was a married couple and the wife is slowly poisoning her husband. Like every day she prepares his food and puts a little bit of, I don't know, bleach or I don't know, something in it that poisons them each day, gets them sick. Would you consider that an attack?
Yes. I don't know what that has to do with countries, though. I don't know why you think people are equivalent to countries.
People live in countries, so like
but they're not. But a country isn't a person, right?
So if another country is
what a fucking idiot! Holy shit!
You can't say I haven't even completed with my. If I haven't even completed my thought.
Oh my god! Go ahead, dude.
I haven't even completed my thought.
Your thought.
Yeah, let Kuvik get it off here.
Go, brain boy. Let's go.
Okay, so if there was a another country and they're smuggling drugs over there to here, and there are people getting hooked on drugs and dying off of drugs over here, you don't consider that an attack?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was just thinking about you eating paint chips.
Well, that's a weird thing to say, 1stAmender, but okay.
All right.
It's funny because, hold on, easy.
Go ahead.
It's because you want to talk about learning from each other, but then I talk and you're like, I wasn't even paying attention, mister. I just want us to come away and learn from each other. You know, let's just learn from each other. I talk, you talk, and we just learn. And meanwhile,
yeah, I mean, we're considering you didn't even attempt. You didn't even attempt. So why am I attempting?
How do you know I didn't attempt if you didn't even fucking pay attention?
Because you weren't paying. Because you would ask the same question 4 or 5 times when I've already answered the same question 4 or 5 times. It's clear to me that you're not interested in having a decent debate. You just want to get gotchas. You don't really care about actual debate or learning from one another. It's very clear to me.
Asshole, you're the one that's been like, I'm gonna clip this. I'm clipping
the shit out of it.
But I'm the one. But I'm the one looking for gotchas.
You're the one that won't engage. I had to ask the question 12 times to get you to answer once on the simplest question. Holy crap!
Anyway, so the question I just asked right now, did I say that multiple times? Well, I wasn't even paying attention, so I don't even know. I want to learn from each other. I want to learn, but I'm not going to listen to what you have to say.
All right. Next one comes in from Red Door Woman for $20. Thank you very much. Department of Justice advised that President Trump had the constitutional authority to order the military to apprehend Nicolas Maduro without explicit prior congressional approval.
Yeah, you need congressional approval to do that. You can't just go to the Department of Justice, get approval to commit an act of war. You need congressional approval as per the United States Constitution.
All right. Mo Rebuttal for $5 says, if you have a lease and end it before the agreement states, you broke it. They stole the time and resources from that time. Use that Q-tip head. Think.
If you lease and end, you broke it. They stole the time and resources from that time. Are you talking about like you're midway through the lease and they're just going to take what, like your security deposit? I mean, this is just not analogous. This is completely separate law, and it now operates at like a state-by-state basis. It's just not the same thing.
All right. We got $5 comes in from Wicked Wally. Thank you very much. Venezuela nationalized the oil industry, and its previously successful economy was founded on theft for decades. Sounds like selfish behavior.
So I'm not a communist or a socialist. When it comes to the nationalization, I mean, I looked it up. They basically bought it off and then moved on. This also does not mean you therefore have access to the oil reserves. The oil reserves was always owned by Venezuela.
All right. All right. We got your typical Kyle for $10. Thank you very much. First Amender, is the hundreds of thousands of American and Venezuelan lives lost justification to arrest Maduro? Is his drug peddling against international law?
You actually have no proof of that. You don't actually know that. You're just saying that for rhetoric. I don't know that
either, though.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
You're right. That's why I don't assume that I know something that I don't.
Oh, you're saying he doesn't know
Not yet.
is drug.
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know what is the level of drug. That's totally classified. We don't know what the evidence is behind that. That's just a claim that has been made by the Department of Justice, and there has been no backing to that. We just don't have that information as civilians. So him saying that hundreds of thousands of Americans lost to Venezuela, we don't know that. We none of us know that.
Okay. If we did find that out though, would it be a justification? I guess.
I mean, to go in and take Maduro, no, that would be against international law. Drug trafficking in and of itself is not a justification to commit an act of war.
All right. Wrath of Reason for $5. Thank you very much. Says, first, your Trump hate stiffy is showing. Put that little thing away. Also, don't disrespect based grandma. Stay. Oh, premonition. Yeah, that's based grandma. Everyone loves based grandma around here. Yeah, thank you very much, Wrath of Reason. Lost Avarice says, let me up. I have a show to get back to. Thank you very much, Avarice, you legend. Then we got another $5 from Bandit. Thank you very much. Says, ironic that he claims the name of 1stAmender but rejects God. Take 5 minutes to read the whole amendment. And YouTube doesn't like the 2A word.
Take 5 minutes to read the whole amendment. So the Constitution doesn't actually make a mention of God. So I don't know where you're getting that.
Oh, all right. Then we got $10 from Trench Deacon again. Thank you very much. 1stAmender, way not to answer my question. We all know Congress hasn't warred since World War II. Now, what are the limits of a presidential policing power?
I would have to go through the long list of legal merits behind that and then see what is the relevant case law. I don't know exactly. I would have to read up on it.
All right. All right. $5 again from your typical Kyle. Thank you very much. 1stAmender, without people, are there still countries?
I understand that countries are people, but I'm saying an individual is not equal to that of an entire country. I love how I get called a moron when I pull in just like basic, like elementary school level thinking. Like you can't even fathom this stuff. I'm showing you the truth and I'm mushing your face into it. And I think you just don't like it. I think you don't like to see it. You would prefer that nothing bad happens with Trump or Trump can do no wrong.
I think that's projection. I think you're coming from it that Trump could do no right.
I think, you know what? Here was an actual example. There was an instance where he wanted to do some, I think there was like a housing project that he was interested in to help the poor. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I actually agree with this. So no, not projection. I'm aware that Trump could do something good and be like, oh, that policy was a good thing.
I still think it's projection.
Okay.
All right. Airborne Animal for $5. Thank you very much. Says UN Charter actually allows for the action that President Trump took. Read it again. It was legal according to the international law.
That's wrong. Why does the international community and every legal scholar disagree with you on this? So either every legal scholar is wrong, or maybe you're wrong.
All right. All right. $5 from your typical Kyle again. Thank you very much. So when Trump tells Maduro to stop the drug trafficking into America, is it still not justified? What the fuck are you on?
That's correct. Just because that there's drug trafficking doesn't mean you have a right to depose a president committing a wartime act. That is not the letter of the law, nor is that in UN Charter, nor is that in the U.S. Constitution, nor is that in international law. It breaks literally all laws regarding this.
All right. And one last one here, and it's from your typical Kyle for $2 projection and a nice dash of cope, 1stAmender. All right. Thank you guys for that, and that right there is going to wrap up the Q&A for tonight. First off, thank you to everyone in the live chat for all the questions, the engagement, the support. Again, this is what allows me to keep bringing you these debates and the entire Swords of Reason experience week after week. So I appreciate every single one of you. And of course, a huge thank you to our debaters for stepping into the arena tonight and sharpening the ideas in front of us all. All right. Before we move on, let me check real quick. Are either of you planning to stay for the open panel tonight?
I gotta head out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could stay for a little bit.
Okay. Perfect. So what we're going to do here, what's happening next, is we're going to roll the debate outro song and video. It'll run for about 4 minutes. It's perfect time for everyone to hit the washroom, grab a drink, stretch your legs, whatever you need to do before the open panel begins. During that outro, I'll drop the link in the chat for anyone who wants to join the open panel, test your ideas, continue the conversation on tonight's topic. Anyone is welcome to hop in. Just come ready to, question, debate. And if you're coming to try and just like troll or bring personal drama or any of that stuff, you're just going to get muted and most likely booted. So when you're ahead with that idea, just quit. Okay. And before we
By the way, anybody
outro,
that's interested, I am taking calls after this. So if you want to call in and debate discuss a woke liberal, maybe about today's topic or anything else, I am going to be taking open calls. So I appreciate y'all.
all right, there you go. If you guys want to talk to 1stAmender, head over to his channel. He's going to be taking calls, all right? And before we run the outro, make sure you guys subscribe to both debaters. Their links are in the description. And if you're enjoying the debates, hit the subscribe to the Speakeazy channel as well so you don't miss any of the upcoming Swords of Reason battles we got every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. All right, let's roll the outro, and I'll see you all in a few minutes.
I gotta leave that studio. All right. Where was the Stream Labs? Why did I put that for Stream Labs? Why did I say Streamlabs? That's not Streamlabs. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Let's take some calls. We're going to take some calls. Take calls. Okay. Back to relaxing music. We can chill. We're good to chill. All right. Gonna go on open phone. Log in here. All right. Just adjust one more thing. I think I got to put the phone up here. AWOL says, good debate first. You won that one. You know, if AWOL says I won the debate, I definitely won that debate. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hold on. You know, I'll be in the recording. You're on the line with 1stAmender.
That was crazy.
What was your name?
Oh, it's Jibb.
Jibb? Oh, hey, Jibb.
That was ridiculous.
You like
that was. I have watched a lot of debates in my lifetime, but the amount of like circularity in that whole shit was so stupid. I'm actually bewildered.
So tell me about it. What did you think?
But let me see. He just kept repeating himself. Like a big issue I had is he was saying that, you know, I think I even wrote it in the chat actually during the middle of it. He was saying might makes right unless it's against me, and then might isn't right. Oh, hold on, I'm on a call. Where's Shira? Not here. I don't know. And yeah, that whole repetition, it was ridiculous. And then he kept saying like, well, he didn't understand that you were talking about like justification. Like, is it justified? Like, is it against the law and such? So the only argument that I thought he had for like a moment was like, oh, because I don't really know this whole political landscape with this person. But when he was saying that, he's like wanted in their country, so maybe we're taking care of him. We're gonna like take him into custody because he's like a wanted criminal. Like that made sense for a moment, but then as you were saying, well, he is a he has diplomatic immunity, so that just shut down the only argument he could have possibly used.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. So, let's see. Michael Scarn is saying, what a loser. He said might makes, not might makes right. So he said might makes, like he basically was arguing like, well, but we're strong. How is he going to stop us? Which is a might makes right argument. He doesn't actually have to say specifically the words might makes right in order to make a might makes right argument. Like, obviously it is not justified for me to walk up to you in a parking lot and just because I have a gun and you don't have a gun, that I have a right to take your gun or to your wallet or whatever. Sorry, not your gun. You get my point.
Yeah,
anyway.
he conceded really early on, so it was kind of ridiculous that like it kept going for as long as it did. I mean, I was getting a good laugh out of it, and what I thought was crazy, and it's probably just because he has a larger following, is the fact that so many of the people that were sending in like super chats or whatever were getting on your case about it, and I was just like, how is this even possible? Like, I don't think if I was debating that fucking guy, I couldn't be more direct. I don't know in any possible way that he could be more straightforward and to the point. And it was funny because he got upset when you said like, oh, I wasn't paying attention, but that was only said like twice. I was paying attention throughout this whole thing. That was said like literally twice. But he can repeat the same argument like how many times over?
Yeah. It's just wild.
That's why.
That's what it is. I don't know. I can lead a horse to water. I can't make him drink. I appreciate you calling in, Jibb. Thank you.
No, yeah, it was good talking to you. I'll probably hop on the Discord later.
Sounds good. Talk to you later. We are taking calls. Phone numbers 202-998-5218. I do want to hear what you have to say. Let's see here. Just give me one quick second. Just got to use the bathroom. Hang tight. Let me put some music on while. There you go.
Amender, you can't hear me on the stream, can you? Whenever, do you have it turned off where you can't hear me?
I can hear you, and everybody else can too.
Oh, you're BRB.
Yes, I can hear you, and everybody else can too.
Yeah, then I'll just chill then. My bad.
Why did Amender run away from the panel like a little bitch? Well, because I don't owe you my attention. And
Amender,
last time I went on that panel, it was unironically one of the most hateful, vitriolic, most combative panels ever. So, no, I was not interested in sticking around for that. Michael Scarn says, bro, you suck at debating. Yeah, not an argument. You try and derail and use ChatGPT. Crazy, you can't even get 2,000 followers. Reason for this? You're so cringe in bad faith, especially your fairy cope laugh. Man, dude, you're like super hate watching at this point. You are you won't stick around for long, but just FYI, you try and derail and use ChatGPT as opposed to what? Cool V1C, who definitely doesn't use ChatGPT. Crazy, you can't even get 2K followers. Yeah, I just started trying to take this channel seriously about a year and a half ago. It's a climb. It takes a long time. And when I started, I had 60 subs. Now I'm at 1,200 in a year and a half, or 1,000 in a year and a half. I believe I will do just fine. I'm growing just fine. You are so cringe in bad faith. Yeah, I mean, just get off your haterade and just give me a call. If you have a problem with me, call me. Phone number is 202-998-5218. We can have a decent discussion. Dave Alyssa says, so the little pussy had help too. All I did was open up Discord and anybody can walk in here and have a conversation if they want. Dave Alyssa says, because you're a fucking coward. No, I'm not. Call the number. Phone number is 202-998-5218. I'm just not going to get berated by like 20 people. If you have like one guy and like 100 people just berating you, obviously it's going to be a really uncomfortable situation. And that's what happened last time that I was in the Q&A. So I swore off the Q&A. I'm not doing the Q&A. If you want, you can call the number and I'd be glad to have a conversation with you. I promise not to bite your head off. We can just have a decent conversation. Phone number is 202-998-5218. Sloppy Second says they are coping because that cool guy got beat. 20,000 followers and couldn't debate. Exactly. True. But I mean, to be honest, right? I don't like that I said that I beat him in a debate, because I say consistently that I do not like to look at debates as like, oh, I won or somebody else lost. It's just, the problem is the guy, he was there conceding to like saying stealing was unjust, and considering the United States did steal, therefore Trump's actions were unjust. I mean, that's logically how that follows. And he didn't, I don't know, I guess he just didn't acknowledge it. In fact, it took him a really long time to even acknowledge that stealing was unjust, which is wild to me. I'm like, come on, you should be able to answer that. That's a pretty obvious answer to that question. But he realized the implication of that question results in him conceding the debate. And then I think like he weaseled out by saying like something along the lines of, for the sake of the argument, you know? The fact that he's in this position says something. Leave it at that. Why do they need to know how you got here? Yeah, I could show you, like my Substack. What was I going to say? Social Blade. I've showed this before, but people who think that I'm not going to grow, I couldn't disagree with you more, and I'll show you why. I understand that it looks like I have an old account and very few subscribers. I get that. Like right now, that's true. But I just want to share with you my Google Chrome. Give me a sec. Where's my Chrome? Chrome. There you are, buddy. Okay. So, I only started recently doing this show, roughly around April of 2024, to where I think I had maybe, I think at the time I had maybe 50, 60 subscribers. I think I released maybe one video every like few months, if that. Like I was not taking the YouTube thing seriously. It was only until about March or April of 2024 where I said, okay, I'm going to make a conceited effort to make this a thing. And so that's exactly what I did. I started doing it, and then boom, as you can see, I've been growing in views as well as subs. I mean, you could just see that it just keeps on growing. I promise you, I will get to Cool V1C's level, and I think I will be able to surpass him. I believe that. Either that, or maybe it's also possible that maybe Cool V1C also gets really big too, because he provides commentary and people like his commentary. I just don't think he's a good like debater. Like I've spent a very long time debating, reading, honing my skills. Cool V1C comes off as somebody that doesn't do that. Let's see here. Why you run after the chat? Oh, because I don't want to be in a room of like 10 people that just want to chide and berate me. But I'm willing to talk to you one-on-one. Phone number is 202-998-5218. But no, I'm not going to deal with that mob mentality. Like it's not good for your mental health. It really is. It's awful. When you have 20 people all getting upset at you, it really does, mess you up like mentally. Even myself, where it's like, I don't, it usually doesn't faze me. Moments like that for sure faze me. As long as you enjoy what you do, that's truly all that matters. I like that attitude. I like that. Also, Cool got a boost due to some other YouTuber named Andrew Wilson. Yeah, that guy got a lot of that guy. Yeah. Mo Rebuttal says, so you can mute. That's the real reason. Here's the thing. I'm just gonna try to have a conversation with you. The only way that I'm muting you is if you're being super, super disrespectful. A quaint note says, not gonna lie, each time you talk, it gets worse and worse. Like I said, if you have an issue with me, just give me a call. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Phone number is 202-998-5218. We are taking calls. I've got maybe another 30 minutes or so, and then I got to go to bed. Let's see. He's saying that there are people spying on me and talking about what I'm doing right now in the library. Aqua Note says, I came here to make sure that you didn't self-delete. That's really mean, dude. I mean, you understand, like, I'm a person, right? Like, with like feelings and thoughts, and like I don't wish any harm on like Republicans or any of that kind. So I would really appreciate it if you didn't do that back. Joseph Romano says, what's the foundation of your morality? Human reason. Go to liturgy, 1stAmender. What's liturgy? What is liturgy? Liturgy is the official, public, and communal worship of a religious group functioning as the structured work of the people to praise God and celebrate sacraments. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm just not religious. I don't believe in that stuff. I have no empirical evidence to the existence of God, and so I disagree with that. I mean, if you want to have a conversation, just call. I'm taking calls. 202-998-5218. Joseph Romano says, expand on that. Yeah, sure. So my morality comes from understanding that Individuals prefer not suffering, and this comes from an entropic view. It's actually entropy that enables this to happen. So it is a bit of an is and an ought problem, but the way that I describe it is, imagine that you have like a hot poker and you put it next to an amoeba. When you have a hot poker next to the amoeba swims away. And so some might argue that, oh, the amoeba swam away because it felt that it was in danger. In reality, the amoeba has no brain. It doesn't really think or have any feelings. There's actually a series of chemical reactions. There's the exuding heat that is dissipating outward into the water and then touching the cell wall. It causes some proteins to bind together to then cause cilia to move around. That's the little hairs on the cell wall, and then it swims away. It doesn't swim away because it desired to live. It swims away to entropically, in like an entropic way. I think that humans are the same way, just extra steps. That's basically the way that I see it. Okay, let's see here. Mo Rebuttal says, address this. Under the War Powers Resolution of 1973, the president can deploy U.S. armed forces without prior congressional approval up to 60 days. Let me see this. I'm not sure. Is that true? Let me see. I'll pull it up. Hang tight. Why am I being sent here? Sorry. Give me a moment, okay? I'm trying to find a source. Give me a moment. Okay. Yeah. So here's your problem. And again, I'm trying to address what you're saying to me and as honest and as nicely as I possibly can, right? This is not me trying to be like, oh, you're wrong, I'm right. I want to learn off of you because I'm not sure what you just said. So what I'm finding is that before the president commits U.S. troops into hostilities abroad, the WPR directs that Congress first be consulted in every possible instance. The WPR further mandates that the president report to Congress within 48 hours of deploying U.S. forces if Congress has not declared war or statutorily authorized the action. The president did not do this. Okay? He did not do this. This is the problem. By law, the president needs to do this. Trump did not do this. Michael Scarn says, you're so scared to go on the panel. It's not that I'm scared to go on the panel. It's that I don't want to be chided by like 20 fucking right-wing sycophants that romanticize the the Crusades to then yell at me when I can just simply address one at a time. If you have a question, I'm more than happy to have the discussion with you. Just give me a call. Phone number is 202-998-5218. Thank you. Read all of it, though. Okay? Of deploying U.S. forces if Congress has not declared war to statutorily authorize the action. The president must continue reporting to Congress at least every 6 months for the duration of the engagement. 60 days after the president first reports to Congress or was required to do so, the use of the armed forces is automatically terminated unless Congress has declared war or passed legislation authorizing the action. The president may extend the 60-day period an additional 30 days by clarifying writing to Congress of the need for continued use of force. The panel is nice, bro. It's just frustrating when you're reading and interpreting things from your view. All I can do is read and interpret things from my view. I don't know how you feel about some things. I don't know how you would particularly interpret. That's why I ask people questions. Cameron says that means you're scared. No, again, I'm pointing out why I'm not interested in having 20 people yell at me. Like I said, if you want to have a conversation, phone number is 202-998-5218. Preacher says, Amender, based on the reports following January 3rd, 2026, capturing of Nicolas Maduro by U.S. forces, the Trump administration notified Congress within the statutorily required 48 hours. Is that true? All right, let's look. I've always thought that wasn't the case. All right, let's see here. Factcheck.org. Several Democrats have claimed that Trump administration January 3rd military operation that led to the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Experts we consulted. Hold on. Let's see here. Notice. Let's see here. Several Democratic lawmakers have also claimed the operation in Venezuela without congressional approval violated domestic law. Maduro is a horrible, horrible person, but you don't treat lawlessness with other lawlessness, and that's what happened here. They went inside Venezuela bombs. Okay. President Trump did not seek congressional authorization for this use of force, and Congress did not grant it under the Constitution and the law. It makes this action illegal. Yale Center for Global Legal Challenges told New Yorker the U.S. constitutional law requires the president go to Congress. This operation that did not require prior consent to Congress, prior authorization of Congress, it required notification of Congress. It's well within Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution. Just notification? That's House Speaker Mike Johnson. Johnson said that he spoke to the president and the secretaries of State of Defense within hours after a mission commenced. How do you know that? The first call was Marco Rubio about 4 a.m., so they've done everything that they can what they were supposed to. This was an appropriate action. So it was just so they told Marco Rubio and Johnson, not Congress. Cool. So no. Again. Taraz to Kill says, why'd you run? I didn't run. I'm just not interested in getting yelled at by 20 people. Call in. Phone number is 202-998-5218. I know what will happen if they call in. There'll be some particular word that you cling on to and we'll be able to divert the conversation to a completely different subject. Again, I just want to talk. Like, we don't need to have a debate. We could just talk. It doesn't allow the president to keep troops there. It just says that he has to get the troops out within 60 days. Again, he didn't give he didn't give the 2-day approval. He just told 2 people, apparently. That was enough. Joseph says, why didn't you answer? How do we determine whose preference is better? Because harm is subjective. How do we determine whose preference is better? I don't know what the context of this question is. Are you saying that I need God for my morality? Is that what you're trying to go at with it? I actually wrote about this. Amender, the article stated the call was from Marco Rubio, not to Marco Rubio. Makes sense that Rubio would make the call. Joseph Romano says, where do your morals come from? Glad to answer you. I actually have a musing on this. Let's see here. Let's see. Huh. It's right here. And I wrote this. This is even prior to any ChatGPT or anything. This is older than ChatGPT. I don't know. Maybe there could be something I end up disagreeing with it because it's kind of old. But, hey, atheist, where do you get your morality from? Morality comes from a long evolutionary pathway of survival. The desire to survival is entropic, but what could that possibly mean? These words are not random. Entropy is a strictly mechanistic function of the universe. All matter results in one form of entropy or another, which includes all living organisms. Entropy, to place it into understandable terms, is where things go from a finite higher energy state into a lower energy state to less interaction into chaos. Think about a hot cup of coffee. Should the hot cup of coffee be in the middle of the room, eventually the cup of coffee will exude its energy out from the coffee and out into the room. The result is the coffee now matches the temperature of the room and the room becomes slightly hotter. The energy is now spread out and will no longer interact. All organisms operate with this universal principle. Think if I took a single-celled eukaryote, as in possesses a cell wall, nucleus, mitochondria, with cilia, little hairs that provide locomotion, and put a hot poker beside it. The hot poker exudes out the energy from the hot poker through entropy. The energy touches the cell wall of the eukaryote and then mechanistically begins binding the chemicals of the cell walls, cascading into a series of proteins that excites the motors of the cilia to cause the eukaryote to swim away. The eukaryote, as a result, never thought about survival. It has no brain to perceive the desire of survival. It never felt that it would die and that it should run away. It simply runs entirely out of mechanistic notions. I do not believe humans are much different, though. Our form of survival is more complex due to the fact that we are a social species. However, this would just be thinking of us like the eukaryote, but with extra steps. We propagate survival by being a social species. This means we mechanistically attempt to work together, and we mechanistically desire survival. Indeed, even the suicidal person will flinch when you swing your fist at them. Survival is entropic. It must happen independent of our desire for it to happen. Our understanding of morality, while subjective, is predicated on a desire of survival, which is chemically determined. Therefore, we create our moral understanding of survival, and that which does not propagate survival or serves to destroy is wrong entirely off of mechanistic means. There you go. That's where yeah.
How you doing?
Hey, Boss Clips, what's up?
I like your haircut, man.
Oh, it's long now. It's going to be even longer.
You gonna grow it out?
Did you want to discuss something?
My bad. I'll mute.
Oh,
wait, I do want to discuss something. I wanted to talk about ICE.
Okay.
So, my opinion got changed by a person that you probably know. His name's Krishan. You ever talk to him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So ICE, I think, is the most horrendous thing that we've had in this country in a long time.
Really?
Yeah, I think that whenever we have mass men that the Republicans support, which they're supposed to support small government, they're supposed to, support small government, and yet they like the government covering up their face and enforcing, laws that they just make up on top of their head. Like when was you ever able to shoot someone over a conspiracy theory of them having a weapon? You take away their weapon in a concealed carry state where it's permitted, and then you shoot them dead over a phone. When has that ever been the case?
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you there. I looked at the Renee Good shooting, for example. What was the other one? It was the shooter.
It's Renee Good and Alex.
Was it Alex?
Yeah, it was Alex
Peretti.
and Renee Good.
Alex Peretti. Yeah. Yeah. So what I noticed was that Alex Peretti, to him, I can't find any justification whatsoever. I mean, it's just totally unjustified.
Well, neither, in my opinion, justified. So one thing
Yeah.
I look at with the Renee Good one, right? She was in a vehicle, and everybody's like, "Oh, she hit the ICE officer." Well, let me ask you a question: shooting the person driving a vehicle, what does that solve? Does that stop the person in the vehicle?
No, obviously it doesn't. And I think
So
also, by the way,
wild.
from like from like literal, like actual ICE training material, like what is like proper, it literally tells you to not step in front or behind a vehicle for this very reason. So like the Renee Good situation, I feel that we should hold ICE agents accountable for their actions to a higher degree than that of civilians. Why? Because they're trained. Do you agree with that?
I think we just shouldn't have ICE agents at all. But yeah, I agree. We should hold them just like police officers.
I'm not even on the side of like we should. I just think we should reframe what ICE agents do.
No, I've been
or what they're supposed to
completely
do.
convinced we do not need ICE whatsoever. Let me ask you a question. Would you narrow down left and right to an extent to big government and small government? To an extent. Obviously, there's more to it, but to an extent, could you narrow it down?
No,
to big
because
government,
like
small
I
government?
could see, for example, like there are Republicans that 100% want really big government, and then there's like right-wing libertarians that don't want big. They want really small government.
Well, I
but
feel
they're
like
both right-wing.
there definitely is libertarian left and libertarian right. Like I've explored what I think that I am, in the political scene, and I think I fall under libertarian right. But what I find wild is that the Republicans, which I would almost want to say that I was a part of them, that they want pro-gun, they want smaller government. They want the government to stay out of everybody's business, right?
Mhm.
But then they support something like this, where they take away your gun rights, they shoot you dead as a civilian, and then everybody on Twitter for the next 2 months makes fun of you and your dead family. Like, to me, that's wild. I could never imagine that being, Renee Good's wife, right? For instance, could you imagine the pain that she must be in? From seeing all the nasty,
and people making
disgusting
fun of
things.
it, right? They're like cheering it on. No, I agree with you.
It's disgusting. I see it no different than the Charlie Kirk shooting, in the way that they made fun of that too. The videos, the AI videos that was posted.
It's a good point.
George
I agree with you.
Floyd too. George Floyd too.
And another thing is the Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse was justified in what he did. All the
I also thought I'm a left winger, and I think it was justified. The Kyle Rittenhouse situation. He did everything in his power to avoid hurting people. It was only until after he was knocked down and was going to get bashed over the head with a skateboard that he shot. That's when the first shot fired, and then it angered the crowd, and they started going after, and that's where he shot 2 more. And so he had done everything in his power to disengage, and that's what saved him.
So the consistency there, though, is that you say both of them was okay, but in this one instance, the Republican says Kyle Rittenhouse good, but Renee Good bad, and then Alex bad. Make sense. It's very similar situations where you're dealing with someone that was trying, and had every legal right to refrain from being arrested. They did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I would really hate to live in a society where we think that mass men can decide whenever they want to take total control and decide to kill someone whenever they want to, and people justify it, and the president go on and say that we're not even going to investigate it. We're not even going to investigate. Did you see what happened with the Renee Good case?
Yeah, they just the DHS and the FBI, they're just not investigating it. And not only
Denied
are they
them.
not investigating it, they're actively hiding evidence from Minneapolis. The
Yeah, they
Minneapolis State
completely
Government.
denied them. They denied
They just-
every bit of evidence. They
There's
said,
enough
"No,
evidence
you're
to
not having
show. At least there's enough evidence out for the people, I guess. But I have a really short comment about this. I know that Amender that there's people defending this, and I'm not one of them. But I'm really glad that there's actually some people who the people who support ICE or support Trump. There are some people saying we should at least train the ICE agents better. Like there's at
47
least
days.
people
That's what
saying
they're
that.
trained, Poon. They're trained 47 days. Did you know that?
So here's
I was trained longer at my current job, and I make fucking rock bottom type shit money.
So here I've got this is this portion here. Give me a second to move the cron.
I work at a goddamn factory.
So this is saying Minnesota officials say they cannot access evidence after a fatal ICE shooting, and FBI will not work jointly on the investigation. And it says the investigation now led solely by the FBI, and the BCA would no longer have access to the case materials, scene evidence, or investigate into interviews necessary to complete a thorough and independent investigation. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Superintendent Drew Evans said in a statement, it had been decided by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension that it would investigate Good's shooting and death along with the FBI, but that later was changed by the U.S. Attorney's Office, according to Evans. The BCA has reluctantly withdrawn from the investigation, Evans wrote. The announcement came as protesters and law enforcement clashed on Thursday morning outside Minneapolis Immigration Court, with the governor urging restraint and schools canceling classes as precaution. So, and by the way, right, if I'm not mistaken, I'm positive that the Trump administration said they're not going to investigate. So they're actively hiding evidence. And they're not going to even spend their time investigating. That is wild to me.
Can I put something in the side chat and you pull it up?
Sure.
Is that cool?
Is that the YouTube chat on the left?
Yeah. If Jonathan Ross was so innocent, why do they have to hide it?
This is what Donald Trump had to say about the shooting.
All right, let's see here. This is the gunman's gun, loaded with 2 additional full magazines. I'm assuming this is the Peretti.
Renee Good. This is the Renee Good shooting.
Shit it. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is the gunman's gun, loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go. What's that all about? Where are the local police? Wait, no, this is not Renee Good. This is Peretti.
This is Renee Good, I'm pretty sure. Because he did make a comment.
This is
on
Peretti.
the other one, right?
Renee Good had a gun too?
Renee Good did not have a gun.
It was a gunman's gun, apparently.
I have both of them. One second.
Whatever that means.
You can read that one, and I'll get the other one real quick.
Well, Renee Good
All right,
would be a
here,
gun.
this is the
a gun
Peretti.
woman.
So ready to go. What's this all about? Where are the local police? Dude, I love listening to Republicans make gun control arguments. I had zero. I was like, there's no way they would make an argument on why do they have a gun at a protest. I could not believe it when I heard that. Let's see here. Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor governor called them off. It is stated that many of these police were not allowed to do their job, that ICE had to protect themselves. Not an easy thing to do. Why does Ilhan Omar have $34 million in her account? And where are tens of billions of dollars that have been stolen from once great state of Minnesota? We are there because of a massive monetary fraud with billions of dollars missing and illegal criminals that were allowed to infiltrate the state through the Democrats' open border policy. We want that money back. We want it back now. Those fraudsters who stole the money are going to jail where they belong. This is no different than a really big bank robbery. What is wrong with this guy? Much of what you're witnessing is a cover-up for theft and fraud. The mayor and governor are inciting insurrection with their pompous, dangerous, and arrogant rhetoric. No rhetoric, right? Coming from Trump, though, right? This is all facts. Instead, these sanctimonious political fools should be looking at the billions of dollars that have been stolen from the people of Minnesota and the United States of America. Let our ICE patriots do our job. Wait, why does ICE need to figure out what's going on with like financial fraud? What would ICE have anything to do with financial fraud happening in Minnesota? 12,000 illegal alien criminals, many of them violent, have been arrested and taken out of Minnesota. If they were still there, you would see something far worse than you're witnessing today. I don't understand this like insane screed. I just genuinely don't understand.
Well, it reminds me whenever Charlie Kirk got shot, and you brought up something, and I'll be honest, it hurt my feelings, but I actually believe it now. That's my profile picture, and it means a lot to me because I truly believe it.
Stupid bitches should have complied.
But you said something about Charlie Kirk, and it hurt my feelings at first, but now I get it. Okay. Whenever he was shot, you said, well, he was supposed to be best buddies with Trump, and then whenever Trump was asked, he made that big, beautiful ballroom. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what it was, right? And he's like, yeah, that was sad, but then I made this big, beautiful ballroom they're constructing now. The man's lost his marbles and has no concept of human decency. Like, he has no empathy, no nothing. And that's sad, because that's what you want a president to have. You want a president to have some sort of empathy for his people. And I don't think that he has that. And that's very concerning.
No, I agree. He doesn't. And I mean, this is what I had been saying based off of like several books that I have read about his history and his past. I started realizing that, oh, this guy's actually like really dangerous. Like, this is like what, at the time that Kamala Harris was, going up against it, I'm like, man, Kamala needs to win. And I did everything in my power to try to get Kamala to win, but obviously, I couldn't do it.
So, you can imagine the hate that we've been getting in modern day debate, with the whole incident, especially considering most of the moderators are anti-ICE. To kind of put into highlight how far against it I put this as my profile picture. And you wouldn't believe how many people tried to dox me because of this profile picture.
Are you serious?
Yeah. What the fuck?
I got doxxed twice because of this profile picture, and they said that I will pay the consequences.
Did they get banned? So apparently this is the...
Yeah, of course, yes.
It's pretty good.
I put that as my profile picture.
If I was in your shoes, I would have banned them without even asking Hannah or telling anything.
And
say that? Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a mess, man. They've gone unhinged. You should take a look at Twitter or X. All kinds of people that are speaking out against ICE are getting doxxed and their jobs ruined. Teachers being fired again, just for saying that ICE is bad and what they did was horrible. I couldn't imagine a society where you say something's bad because it's bad and then you get fired from a government job.
Well, I hope things get. Sadly, I think things are going to actually get worse before they get better. But unless if Donald Trump pulls off some insane shenanigans for the midterms are coming. And once the midterms happen, it's likely going to be a filibuster against Donald Trump. And he will be largely ineffectual, similar to what happened on the final 2 years of President Obama. They went through a filibuster as well.
Well, I never said teachers was saying that to 6-year-olds. What was happening is teachers are posting on their own private, Twitter page. Private meaning like it's theirs. It's it's not like it's a teacher's page. They're posting it on their own personal page, and they're being fired because of it, because they're being doxxed by MAGA. You clown is crazy.
Yeah, no, I get a lot of haters on my shows, so it's fine.
It's crazy how you got that much hate for that simple. You just did the most simple debate ever.
Yeah, you should.
And then you had the most hate ever. It felt like just now.
This is kind of ironic.
So they get exhausted and then they move on.
Killing innocent people bad. You clown is the response. Doxing innocent people.
Joe Pio says caller is lying. Hey Joe, you can call. You've called before. We can have a conversation. Either that, or if you want to go on to the recording live Discord as well, You can go on my Discord. It's discord.gg/1stAmender. You can see it right here. And there's currently a channel called Recording Live. If you want to come in and say hello, I'd be more than happy to hear you out.
I'm curious to see what was a lie. Like, I'm hoping he comes in here and lets everybody know what a lie, like what lie it was.
We've seen the videos. You liar. Yeah, I saw the videos.
The closest thing
too.
Amender's done to a lie is like
Sadly, I've seen the videos.
rephrase the
Wanna know
sentence
what's even
incorrectly,
sadder? The
and that's
family members of those people had to see the videos too. That's
oh, they
pretty
saw the
rough.
videos all day. They couldn't escape it when they got on social media. It's
Well,
unbelievable.
so what's actually
horrible.
bad, what's really bad is Mago took it a step further, and they've been harassing the family members, and you know.
Typical
Jopio
internet
says,
people.
I'll come
People
in.
on
I'm
both sides
down
do
to
that, to be honest.
clown. They're saying, let's go.
I'm not
Jo-
justifying.
I got to actually get going really soon. If
you
you
got
don't
that
show up
Biden
soon, I
bedtime
got to
thing?
go. I do. I really do. I got work in the morning. I got shit to do. But if you guys are not subscribed, please do subscribe. I appreciate y'all very much. And you know, if you have not hit the like button yet, hit it. Hit that like button.
Good debate, 1stAmender. I'll see you tomorrow sometime.
Hey, it
After
was
the-
nice
I like
seeing
that the
you, man.
YouTube chat has nothing to do with what you guys were talking about.
Oh yeah, no,
Well,
it happens.
Amender removes consent.
Hey,
Who does
Poon,
remove consent?
I tried to send you a friend
Wondering
request.
how
but
that guy has so many subs. That guy seemed like a bit of a dimwit.
He's got a lot of stuff. That's why I was like saying, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna watch me. I'm going to explode. I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly. It keeps getting bigger and bigger, and this stuff, it grows exponentially. I think the difference between 1K subs and 20K subs, I get that it's 19,000 and it seems like it's a lot, but considering it grows like this, I think we'll be all right. I think we will.
Well,
You know what's
so
also
one
funny?
thing you got to look at here, Amender, is let's say half of those people are watching your videos, right? And it seems like that's kind of what's happening, is more than half of these people are watching them. The more that you do that, like let's say you have 1,500 people are constantly watching your video. Now you have 500, right? And then it builds more traction. And then 2,000, now you have 1,000 people watching your video, so on and so forth. Like, I mean, it's just going to be a exponential climb.
I believe it. I do. I believe it.
I hope you remember me whenever you make it big. Debating Dean
It
Withers.
was weird. It was weird how he jumped onto the trans topic in the middle of that. That was super random.
That was weird.
That was really out of left field. I think he just really wanted to get off of the current subject because he can see, like I said earlier, he conceded it super early. So then it became like really circular, really fast.
And also like the rhetoric, like it just, I don't know, it just wasn't there. He had like, I asked him very simply, is stealing justified? The simplest question, and he could not acknowledge it. He knew what Trump was doing was stealing, and he knew if he said stealing was unjustified, then therefore what Trump did was unjustified, right? And because and it was so obvious, saying stealing is stealing justified. Ask a 3-year-old that question. They'd be like, yeah, stealing is not justified. Like, what?
With MAGA being so homophobic, I find it pretty weird that they firmly plant it right in their mouth.
MAGA's homophobic. You're adorable.
No, I'm just saying. It's like
there's Joe P.O. There he is.
I was trying to be quiet. That one made me laugh.
We'll go on for a little.
Yeah, I heard you. Good. You can cut it
we'll
off.
We'll go on for a little bit. But
MAGA's homophobic. There's a lot of gays.
If Joe and Boss want to have a conversation, I don't mind. Just don't make
kosher.
this. Please.
Hey, what's up, Joe? How you doing?
Oh, just another day. I just popped in and hearing some crazies. So.
What did he lie about?
Oh, the teachers thing?
Yeah. You think I lied about the teachers thing on Twitter? where people are being
No, what did I? I'm trying to remember the context of why I said you were lying in that one. I mean, I don't know how you can. We've seen the videos. The teachers are being recorded in their classrooms berating students to believe that ICE is bad.
I've seen that, yes, but that's
Okay.
not what I'm referring to.
So
What I'm
that's so
referring
bad that those
to-
teachers are getting in trouble.
I would assume that those teachers are in trouble, but that's not what I was referring to. What I was referring to is teachers posting about how bad ICE is on Twitter, and then them getting doxxed by manga. And you can see it because where I am, more of a right wing individual. Like I have more right wing shit pop up
No,
than
you're
left.
not.
You can say that just because I don't support
No,
ICE.
I've been listening to you for a while.
Big
You're not.
government. I don't believe in big government, so I don't support ICE. That's just a
It's
contradiction
all
of what
good.
I would
Just stay on
believe.
topic. You're good.
So then MAGA pops up on the feed showing that this person said blank about ICE agents, and then this is where they work, and everybody calls the school about the teacher, and then they get fired, and then they'll post a result of that afterwards, and that's what I've
Okay.
continued to see.
And what have we seen for the past decade?
What do you mean?
That the left has been doing this for years on end, like just doxing people, ruining people's lives. They're still doing it today. Like they will
Yeah,
falsely
and what
call
did we
the police.
say? What do we say as right wingers? Cancel culture is
don't-
bad, right?
I'm not a right winger, so I don't know
Okay.
what right wingers say.
We've
That's
been
kind of
saying
weird.
that cancel culture is bad, and then whenever cancel culture, we do it to other people, suddenly it's okay. It's
Cancel culture is bad in the
hypocrisy.
sense of you have like the Me Too movement where you just have 20 women that all just jump on a story and then cancel people without any proof or evidence. We literally have the video footage. We have the posts. We just have, you have the Virginia guy, congressman saying he wishes that his opponent's children would be shot dead so they would understand how bad guns are, stuff. You have the guy in Ohio right now saying he's going to kill Trump. Like they're posting these things, nothing's been done, and then finally some stuff gets done this year, and you guys are like, see?
Wait, but
Stop the
did I
Trump.
did I complain about those people that said those hateful things, or was I referring to teachers that just gave their political opinion?
And I'm saying, why would you want those teachers teaching your kids?
Because so them having a political opinion has nothing to do with them teaching.
Berating children.
Where are they berating children whenever they made a tweet?
That's just that. That's not the classroom. What they push this. They even make schools watch like 10 minutes of CNN. Like I don't know what the word is, engulf. They entwine this stuff directly into the schools, and then if you ever stand up and speak out, they will fail you. They will kick you out of the class. All this kind of stuff. And so we stop this, and you guys are like, "Oh, see, they're
Joe Pio,
canceling
not
people."
to interrupt too much,
Yeah,
but I should
yeah, go
point out, right, that, I mean, showing CNN, that's relatively benign in my opinion. But if I'm like thinking here, instead of CNN, just recently, the state of Florida has approved PragerU as valid educational course material for K through 12 public education. Did you know that?
Not that guy.
I did not know that.
PragerU.
Okay.
Is that appropriate? If you're against CNN,
I'm against them pushing one narrative into the classroom whenever they're not supposed to be doing it at all.
so if PragerU is doing it, then that's also bad, right? Just
I
to
don't
be
even
clear.
know what PragerU represents.
We just
honestly.
agree that all of it's bad, and you agree that all of it's
All-
bad.
That's what I
but
said.
then
I did
people-
say it was all bad.
Okay,
yeah.
So
so
Prager-
so
so-
I will agree with you.
So
on that,
yeah,
but-
PragerU is a American 501c3 nonprofit advocacy group and media organization that creates content promoting conservative and pro-capitalist viewpoints on various political, economic, and sociological topics. Co-founded in 2009, is with a talk show host, Dennis Prager. Despite the name including the word university, it is not an academic institution and it does not confer degrees. PragerU's videos have contained misleading or factually incorrect information on slavery, the racism in the United States, immigration, and the history of fascism. PragerU is also further accused promoting racism, sexism, and anti-LGBT politics. PragerU is used as supplemental education material in public schools in 8 states.
As supplemental.
This is not okay, right? I'm saying like
That's
this
true.
is not okay.
I'm trying to envision what you're meaning, how this is coming to the schools. Because whenever I say CNN, I can show you them playing it on the TV and making all the kids watching it. How is PragerU going into the schools?
well,
like, are they doing studies? Are they going
yeah,
on
so
campus?
teachers are showing PragerU. I'm saying like you're against CNN, which I consider like, okay, yeah, it's a little left wing, but it's not. It's really not that left wing by any stretch. Like no. Hold on. Going from no. Think about the different. No. Joe.
Joe. I'm muting.
Think about it this way, okay? CNN versus the Young Turks. Big difference, right? Do you see the difference?
Oh yeah, big difference.
Okay, yeah.
I watched CNN.
That's actually left wing.
I watched CNN in our school, and it wasn't mostly political. Most of the things on CNN was talking about like the current stuff that they was making. Like whenever I was in school, it was AI that it was talking about, and robots that Tesla was making, so on and so forth. It wasn't really anything to do with politics.
I also second that.
So you're saying CNN
we
is
were
if they're
shown-
making like political views and like manipulating your children because they're watching CNN is just
so
like that's
I told
just to
this
share
this picture. I love this picture actually.
So
Go
just
ahead,
to share here, you could see once again this is the ad font is media bias chart. You know, those that are further on the right, you could see like you have foxnews.com, you know, but CNN right here, CNN is right towards the top, slight left of center. Right? It's not the Young Turks, right? The Young Turks is way the hell over here. Okay,
so we have one radical news organization and then one more radical. Okay.
What? No, what? Dude,
no, I'm saying CNN is
look at
less.
this image. Like, who watches any of these?
If you threw
What?
that
I watch
politically, that would
PBS.
be
I listen to
centrist leaning.
NPR.
I know you do. I'm talking about Americans. Like,
I'm an American.
Like, yeah, but you're very anti-America, so it's just like
no, I'm not
picking-
anti-America. I want America. I want America to succeed. I want America to succeed.
Pro-slavery?
You can go back and re-listen to our conversation. It's
I'm not
I've already done
pro-slavery.
it. Yeah, we've had the conversation.
What?
You call it? You say it's not slavery, but you said you want to import them, put them all in a group together. They can build their homes together and have their own little economy, and da-da-da. It's just slavery.
What?
That's not what slavery is.
Okay.
Slavery is owning people as property.
When you have when you have your own little neighborhood and you import people to your country and they build their own neighborhood, that's basically just slavery.
Well, sadly, I want to continue this, but War Dog says you won that debate, but you attacked me personally. I joined the chat and you left. I'm so sorry, War Dog. My apologies.
Hey, Walt, did you won? I didn't.
My
catch all of
apologies for getting upset at you. Sometimes I get upset and I try not to. I try to be nice to people. I just sometimes questions are just wild to me.
I can
anyway,
say, I think Amender has become way more accepting of people.
Oh,
within the
100%.
last little bit for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta head to bed, but you guys are welcome to chill out here or whatever. Obviously I'm not recording any live, but so thank you all very much. We're going to be doing more of these. I've got a debate tomorrow. There's actually a debate tomorrow. I think I'm showing up on Modern Day Debate. What the hell is the debate prompt? Fuck.
Are you going to come to the MDD after show?
Shows you how huh?
Are you going to come to the MDD after show?
Is there Modern Day Debate after show?
Yeah, we host after
Let's
shows.
see. Debate with Taylor Fogarty. Pro-life versus pro-choice. Which is more ethical? Taylor Fogarty. Okay. Yep, that's what we're going to be doing. Pro-life versus pro-choice. Obviously, I'm pro-choice argument. So that is what I will be doing. Same time, 8 p.m. And I'm going to be debating there. So I appreciate you guys very much.